Well, that's all. That's the only thing we have.
What's going on, guys, girls?
Right.
Rob and Keith. If you'd have only caught what we just said to each other about 10 seconds before broadcast, you'd be like, "Okay, we definitely don't want to miss this now." let's
Yeah.
let's give you the upsets of the week. California, um, they covered against Oregon. Oregon wins the game. California covers there. San Jose State.
I think I got that one right, by the way. I
You got
think.
you got both of them right. You got California and San Jose State. You took both of them. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I did.
Um, number 17 Arkansas. They find a way to lose. They lose. And Auburn.
Where's my pencil?
Harris's favorite team will be probably back in the top 25 again. Florida. I can't explain this one, guys. I just cannot explain it. Um,
Yeah, that one
the,
doesn't make any sense, does it?
no, because this kid for LSU he's thrown more dumpy eggs than anybody all year. Played an outstanding game. I will admit it. They outplayed Florida.
But,
Every time Florida went down the field and scored, LSU had
yeah.
the
Well,
answer. No doubt about that.
I think the second time Florida tied them in the third quarter, LSU next possession they were around midfield and a running back goes right through. There's nobody there to stop him the
Florida's
last 40 yards.
Florida's defense is not that good. Florida's defense is not that good, and
Yeah,
a couple of times they even had touchdowns called back. LSU did. It was crazy stuff. It was
yeah,
wild.
or just big gains that were
Yeah,
called back.
Michigan State, they stay undefeated now. They beat Indiana. Are they the class of the Big Ten? We're going to find out. There's still two undefeated teams in the Big Ten, and they're both from Michigan. Michigan and Michigan State. Oklahoma State.
What was the final spread on that Michigan State game?
What was the spread on it?
Yeah, what did they end up winning by?
Um, it was more than 4.5. I think it was 20-15.
Yeah,
Yes,
so they just barely covered.
college football
Yeah, it was
finals
20 to
today.
15. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they just covered by a half point. Yeah. So somebody knows what they're talking about, don't they?
See, I thought UCF would have. I thought Cincinnati was going to have a little bit of a down week. I think you got that one right. You took them to keep,
No, I did.
didn't you?
No, Tim
Or
took them.
was it Tim
No,
took them to keep their
yeah,
foot on the pedal?
yeah.
So
College football finals this week. Yeah, yeah, I got it right here. Yeah. Tim took Cincinnati, and he's got a little home field bias there because he's right there from Cleveland.
well, a
So
little maybe biased, but he's probably more informed on the team than
right,
we
he
are as
probably knows
well.
what the team's all about too. Knows exactly what they've got going on,
Not that we're
and
making excuses, but I mean that's the truth. I mean he's probably got more
right.
stuff in the local news and everything than what we get.
Exactly. If he just turns on something, he sees Cincinnati, Cleveland, or whatever, where you would see LSU, and that's the reason you got the good scoop on LSU. You know exactly what LSU is going to do every week. That's why you. Oh, that's right. You didn't you didn't take them. Yeah,
Uh,
just no, just like Virginia Tech today. How about Virginia Tech? They got beat again. Virginia
oh, they
Tech.
were getting clobbered last I saw.
Yeah, they got beat today.
28-7. I think they had just scored a touchdown when I
I
had that
think,
game on.
yeah, they got beat around today. Who was that beat them?
I don't remember now.
No, it won't Louisville. Let's see. Who the hell was it? Let me put it on comments in case somebody's got it. May have, uh, may know exactly who
I
beat
look
them.
at the CBS Sports app, and the scores. I'm like scrolling. Oh, Pittsburgh. That was the
Oh yeah,
final,
that's right.
28 to
Yeah,
7.
yeah. They beat them. They beat them up. They beat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. CBS Sports. They got the
Baylor
beat.
ended up defeating BYU by 14 points. That's another one
Yeah.
I got wrong.
Yeah. Harris. Harris said it would happen. Harris said it would happen. College football final scores today. There we go. Alabama, they're up 18 on Mississippi State, and let's hope they hold it because all of us picked Alabama. I really don't see Alabama tripping up anymore. They did their one trip up at A&M. I don't think they're going to mess up Oklahoma up 10 right now on TCU, 17-7.
Hmm.
We all took Oklahoma in this game. I still say it's a trip up game chance, but we'll see what happens. Mississippi, Ole Miss up 10-9. Tennessee got a safety early on in that game, and now they scored a touchdown, and it's 10-9. Let's go back to the final scores from earlier.
One game on Georgia, they were up 31-7 with, like most of the fourth quarter to go. And Kentucky, I think, went like 11 minutes with the ball down the field. And if Georgia had stopped them, they cover with 24 over the 23.5, but
Right,
Kentucky scored, and then they
it
didn't.
ends up being what, 21?
It was a 17 point, yeah, it was
17-point game.
31-14 or something like that, or 30-13,
Yeah.
30-13.
So let's go back, guys, folks. California covers against Oregon. Oregon wins the ball game, and that was their main thing. They cannot afford to lose, but Oregon has lost one already. Correct?
Yeah, they lost to Stanford.
Yeah. So 24-17, they are still in the Pac-12 championship talk. San Diego State, 24th in the country. They do not cover. They're 19-13 over San Jose State.
But with two losses, Oregon's chances of a playoff bid are virtually nil at this point, I would think, because they were too far down.
Do they have
They're like ninth.
Do they have
Oregon?
Two?
They have two. Well, did you say they lost today?
They won. They just didn't cover.
Oh, they won. Okay. Well, no.
24-7.
If they won, then they might still have a chance. But if they if they would have lost again, they're done.
Slim and none, and Slim is walking out the door right
Yeah,
now.
and that's still what it is. It's Slim.
Yeah, because obviously now Alabama moves up in that top four groove, and now all that host of Big Ten teams, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, all those teams are grouped in there, all hoping for that one spot that they can move up in there. Because Cincinnati now, number 2, Cincinnati, they should be safe. If they win their games and cover by 14, they should be safe as one of the 4 picks. Now, the problem is going to come if Georgia, let's say Georgia wins out. Let's say Alabama wins out. They play in the Southeastern Conference Championship. Let's say Alabama pulls this upset. Let's say they win this game. Alabama's got to be in the top 4. How do you take Georgia out from number 1?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't. The same as they would keep. Well, Alabama's going to get more favoritism in a situation like that than Georgia, because Georgia or Alabama had that happen once, I think, where they lost.
And the thing is, Alabama's got so many.
They were already in it.
They got so many national title banners already. That's going to cover a whole lot for them. Ohio State. Let's say Ohio State wins out. Ohio State wins. They play Michigan, Michigan State, whoever in the Big Ten championship. It's going to be hard to keep the winner of that Big Ten championship out of the running. Now, the chances of having 2, I think, are slim and none now, especially with Iowa probably marching their way out of the top 5.
Yeah, I think there's probably a better than 50% chance, though, that one of those 2 conferences, the SEC or the Big Ten, will have at least 2 teams in there. Not saying it's a guarantee, because you got Cincinnati, who could stay undefeated and win big in all their games. Oklahoma could win out. Maybe Oregon gets hot and looks good down, but I think Oregon's odds are so small at this point.
Exactly. Also, we need to look at the Big Ten's East and the West and see what teams would be playing each other. As far as let's say Michigan State and Michigan both go undefeated, and then let's say Michigan beats Michigan State. They're not even going to play each other in a championship game, because I think they're both in the West side. Let's see.
I was going to remind you a moment ago. Remember a few years ago, I don't know if it was like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, LSU went to Alabama and they won a game out there like 6-3. And then LSU was in the postseason, But Alabama won out the rest of the year. They still got in the playoff, and then Alabama
LSU.
destroyed LSU in this championship game.
Yeah, yeah. What happened was LSU went to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
They got to play Georgia. They went in and beat Georgia's ass. Alabama got to skip all that
Hmm.
because they weren't eligible to get to the SEC championship. They went straight into the bowl championship.
Yeah.
They made it as a 4, where LSU made it as a 1. They played them in the first game, and Alabama destroyed them by 30 points. I think
But
25
to
or
be
30
honest, do you think
points.
many other teams get that same uh, treatment by the voters, by the sports artists,
And
or is Alabama just one of a couple teams that still gets a chance to get in the
yes,
playoffs in that scenario?
Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Notre Dame still get the special treatment.
Yeah.
USC, they don't get it anymore.
Well,
USC,
Notre Dame just got it a couple years ago. They got destroyed by Clemson, and yet they were
yeah,
still in the playoffs.
that was last year. Yeah, USC 25 years ago, I'd have said USC would have got special treatment. Oklahoma, they're not getting a special treatment anymore. Clemson doesn't have to worry about special treatment this year. They're clowns
Hmm.
this year. They don't have to worry about it. But a team like Miami, they used to get pushed up on the pedestal a little bit. You'd see them get an Orange Bowl bid, even sometimes 2 and 3 losses back before this playoff started. You anytime Miami had a chance to go to the Orange Bowl, they were in
Hmm.
there. They were in there. But yeah, watch out. I've already said I still think if Notre Dame wins out, watch out for those 4 teams. They still liable to slide under the radar and get in there. It could happen, especially if Ohio State loses one more, because they're another team that gets a special treatment. There's no doubt
Hmm.
about it. Alabama gets it, but Alabama's not going to need it. If they go to the SEC championship, they beat Georgia's ass. They belong in the top 4. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to say that Georgia doesn't belong in there if that's their only loss of their year.
Yeah.
But then you got to start. Then you got to start picking little small pieces apart. Cincinnati hasn't lost. They probably deserve to be in there. Then you got a Big Ten team there's probably going to be one Big Ten team that doesn't lose. That's not even going to be, that may not even make it into the. Well, no, it could be
Cincinnati probably needs Notre Dame and whatever other Big
Ohio,
Ten team they beat.
Ohio State to lose.
Well, yeah, but they need Notre Dame to keep winning because they need the. Don't they
Well,
need the index points or whatever they got to
well,
go by?
yeah,
The
yeah, to a point. But the problem is, if that might be the team they have to worry about kicking them out. I don't think Cincinnati's got a trouble now. If
well, you'd think
Cincinnati's,
though that they beat them head to head would count for something in that
yeah,
situation.
but if you want to look at it, have you got the top 10 in front of you right now?
No, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
I can in
If
just
you
a
if you
moment.
throw the top 25 in front of you right now, so often that a team does not get credited for beating another team.
Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, Oklahoma,
Well,
Alabama,
no, this is the way they came into the weekend. Alabama was number 5. Who was number 6?
Ohio State.
All right.
Remember, then it was Penn
Oh,
State, then
and
Michigan.
do you remember Ohio State got beat?
Right.
Ohio State got beat by
By
Oregon.
Oregon.
And right, Oregon's a one-loss team, and look how far down Oregon
They're at
is.
9.
Yeah, and then right after Ohio State, it's what, Penn State?
Penn State, Michigan, Oregon,
All right,
Michigan State.
Penn State's got a loss. Penn State's got a loss
Yeah,
now.
Michigan
They
doesn't.
lost. They lost to Iowa. So,
Mhm.
and then the next team is Michigan, correct?
Right. They're
So
undefeated.
now you tell me, if Michigan wins out, should there even be even a chance that Penn State or Ohio State get in front of Michigan?
No.
No, and right now they shouldn't even be in front of them. Why should
No.
they be in front of them? Michigan and Michigan State both should be in the top 10. Where's Michigan State? 9?
Michigan State is 10 behind Oregon.
Oh, okay. See, they should even be in front of Oregon right now because Oregon has a loss. I mean, look, it's not difficult, folks. When you are a Power Five conference team, if you are undefeated, you should automatically bump ahead of teams with one loss. I don't care. I don't, and that would take Alabama out of it if you really want to start talking about it, because Alabama right now would be even in the top 10. But when you start, they're looking
No.
at power ranking. They're looking at power rankings. That's what they're looking at. They're still saying if Ohio State plays Penn State again tomorrow, they beat them. If Ohio State plays Michigan, they beat them. Which it may happen. It could happen. But there's a damn good chance that Ohio State loses their second
Wow.
game, and there's no way then that they should even be thought of as a team up there.
Now, see, Iowa lost this week, so Ohio State's going to probably be the top-ranked Big Ten team after this
Yep.
weekend.
Yep.
And
Let me
they
go
might not
this.
be. They might be like at number 5 behind Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and Alabama.
Big Ten standings. I want to say, all right, the Big Ten East. All right, the Big
Oklahoma
Ten,
State's going to move up to at least number 10 because Kentucky lost and what did I just say? Iowa lost.
Ohio State does not have the lead way into the Big Ten championship. Listen to this one there, Keith. Michigan State, Big East, Big Ten East. So
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Big Ten East.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, third place. So that's got one. That means when
They
Michigan
can't
State,
get to the conference championship game unless those teams lose.
right, Michigan and Michigan State, one of them's going to lose when they play each other.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to hope the other team loses somewhere along the way in order for them to leap them and get into the championship game. Penn State is fourth, and then Maryland is fifth. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get my Big Ten. Here we go. And then Indiana, and then Rutgers. Then you go over to the West. You still got Iowa 3-1 in their conference.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota 2-1. Purdue
Mm-hmm.
2-1, and the team that just beat Iowa. Wisconsin, Northwestern, Illinois, and Nebraska all have one win. So right
Minnesota beat Nebraska today. I don't know. Is that updated on there?
now, Minnesota beat Nebraska.
Yes.
Nebraska's 1-4 in the conference, so I would think that's probably updated.
Okay.
And Minnesota's 2-1 in the conference. Iowa's 3-1. So Ohio State, as much as people want to push them, would have to pass the other team that's undefeated, which means Michigan State and Michigan, one of them's losing when they play each other. They have got to root for the other team to lose, or they're not even going to be in the Big Ten championship. But Iowa could. Iowa right now is number 1 in the Big Ten West. Let's
Could they possibly drop Iowa State or Iowa below Penn State after Iowa beat Penn State?
Well, they could because they've.
I know. After what we saw with the Oregon and
there's no way they should.
They
should not
shouldn't.
drop. They shouldn't.
That's
drop
why
those.
Michigan should be ahead of both of those teams right now because
Exactly.
it's like they're still stuck behind Iowa otherwise.
They're going to be stuck behind Iowa, Penn State, and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, chances are that's what's going to happen. The only one, and the thing of it is, what'll take care of it all is this: once the season's done, if Michigan or Michigan State take care of all their business during the season, they're going to make it to the Big Ten championship. You win the Big Ten championship, you're going to be in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be, because number one, you can't. If Ohio State doesn't even make a Big Ten championship with a loss, and Penn State doesn't make it, they can't be looking at them thinking, well, we're going to let Ohio State come in here, even if we've got an undefeated Michigan team. There's no way. There is no way they can't do that.
There's always this talk about the Power
play the
5
extra
conferences, but the way that the sports writers and the community that follows college football out there look at things. I mean, the Big Ten and SEC are like the Power 2, and then it's like the Big 12 and the Pac-12, ACC are kind of a little subordinate to those two
Right.
conferences.
Now let me ask you this: where's Notre Dame in that top 25? Where are they placed at?
Where they have them is 14 right now.
All right.
But they're going to probably move up because Ole Miss is losing. Kentucky lost, so probably pass them up. And that might be it. But so they're going to probably move up to at least number 12.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, Big 12, like you said, they're everybody's whipping boy this year. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma hadn't lost either. Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma lost one, I thought, didn't they? Didn't they lose to A&M or something? No, you're right. They're undefeated. I guess because they get behind and then they have to come
Yeah,
back so
because
often.
what's happened is they've been playing behind and up and down to their competition, but they hadn't
Yeah.
lost yet. So Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, one of them's going to be making it to the Big 12 championship. That's going to settle a lot of that problem right there. Oklahoma could get pushed out of the top four easily then, because right now they got to be three. What do you think? Three?
Yeah, I would say that's probably right because I think everything's going to stay about the same except for Iowa's going to drop down to probably
Yeah, and
6 or 7.
yeah, and a one-loss team right now is going to be fourth, and that's the way it's looking to me anyway. And if it comes down to if this was the last week of the season, obviously that Michigan or Michigan State team, whichever team goes undefeated, they're going to bounce up. They're going to push up, and I'm not sure they won't pass those other teams in the Big Ten, which they should. They should, but if Iowa beats one of those two undefeated teams, and Iowa has that one loss against Purdue,
Mm-hmm.
is anybody going to look at them and say, oh, well, of all the Big Ten teams, they won the Big Ten championship, they deserve to be in? I don't know if they'll make it or not. I'm not sure.
Purdue is not a good team to get beat by.
No, but if you go back and look, Purdue has a history with Iowa. I don't know why.
But they don't care about that.
No, they don't. They don't. You're right. But I don't see that any other Big Ten team could get in front of Iowa if Iowa runs the table the rest of the way, with one loss, and then they play. What's up, Cleveland baseball fans?
So that would open it back up for a team like Notre Dame or something like that if they can win out, or Cincinnati or Oklahoma.
I think Cincinnati's in there already. And then
they should. They probably are because they don't really have much of a challenge ahead of them the rest of the way.
And then Oklahoma,
and they're already in the top 4.
What if they lose? What if they lose to Oklahoma State? Then what the hell happens? Because then Oklahoma State's 12. It's not like they're undefeated.
Does Tim want to come on with us?
Yeah, you want to pop on, bud? You want to pop on with us? We're just talking about all these upsets today. If you want to hop on, come right on. Yeah. Alabama right now, last I looked, 21-3, I think was, yeah. All you got to do is say yes, sir, or yes, anything like that. I will invite you. I will throw the invite you.
Yeah, there he goes.
Good. That's cool.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, man. I'm glad he wants to come on with us. Yeah. Yeah, let me send the invite to him. But yeah, Michigan State and Ohio State. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, yeah, Ohio State's undefeated in their conference, but they still got the one loss.
I wonder how good Arizona State is this year.
Well,
they're 5-1.
We're going to find out tonight because they're going to play Utah at Utah, and they're a 1-point favorite. They have got to. They've lost one though. They've lost one.
Arizona State is always kind of at least for most regions in the country, are kind of an out of sight, out of mind team. I mean, people still remember USC and kind of aware where they're at in the standing. UCLA, yeah, and then Oregon, of course, and Washington, oftentimes. But
yeah, and the thing is, Arizona State, they lost on the road. What's up, Tim?
Hi, Tim.
Um, every one of those Pac-12 teams has a loss.
Hmm.
Hey, can you
Oregon
guys hear
State.
me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. You're loud and clear.
Oh yeah, man, we hear you. Now, is my mic working good now? I don't know if it is or not now.
I had to turn Rob up kind of loud to
Okay,
hear.
because I can't hear anything on my PC.
Wow. Let's see. One, two, one, two,
Hello?
three, one, two, three,
All right.
four,
I'm
one,
going
two,
to
three.
back out and come back in because I can't hear anything on my PC.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
I'll just remove. Yeah, we got. Okay, he's got it right there where he can come back.
Yeah, he was
You hear?
loud.
Oh yeah, I heard him fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But
I like the way
I don't
I
know
like
really
that.
how loud I got you up, though.
Oh, okay. But it looked like he could hear you because I can hear you fine. I hear you
Hmm.
fine. So
Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, I'm looking at Pac-12.
I watched
Uh,
that last night, Des.
Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I watched that movie on Peacock last night.
Oh, did you?
Hmm.
What's up, Dez? Um,
I
I
would say it was probably the second best movie in the franchise. The last 5 to 10 minutes, I think, should have been a lot different, but outside of that, I thought it was pretty decent.
that's cool. Now is that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis?
She's in it a little bit, not so much. I mean, they go to her, but she's not really involved too much in what's going on. She's just in a
Okay.
hospital, and it's more her daughter and her granddaughter, and then
Oh,
some other
okay.
people in the town. And
I got you.
you're
Yeah.
familiar with the franchise,
I,
Rob?
yeah. Back when I was in high school, Season of the Witch. That was the one. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was
All right, that's a ton better. Okay.
Aha.
okay. Not
Yeah.
you sound really loud to us,
Hey,
Yeah,
let me,
we can
to
hear
me
you real.
anyway.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
can hear you
all
really
right.
well.
I kind of have it like mid. Is that better?
You're good. I can hear you really well. We can turn our volume down a little bit. We can still hear you good, but that's good.
All
That's
right.
good. Better than not being able to hear you at all.
All
Um,
right. So
man, oh man,
sadly, I'll admit I did not watch much college football today. I played pinball from like noon until almost 4.
now
When
was
you
you at a?
say pinball on an actual pinball machine or like a video
Yes,
pinball?
actual pinball machine.
Oh,
Okay.
I love nothing like it. I love playing it. Um, Harris Jessup is going to be pissed. Auburn loses. I mean, Auburn wins. Auburn wins. They're going to be back in the top 25, and he is going to be pissed. Um, Oregon, they win, don't cover. Um, San Diego State last night wins but does not cover. Auburn wins. LSU, Lord have mercy. Me and Keith have been giving that sorry
Oh my God!
bastard.
As soon as I finally don't pick them,
That
then they
sorry. We've
decide to
been
put a
giving that
game
sorry.
together.
We've been giving that sorry ass quarterback a hell of a time. He came out today, and I mean, he looked like friggin' Steve Young. He left-handed. Oh my lord, he was throwing it
The
everywhere.
announcers were even talking about the abilities that he had that his dad didn't at one point
It was crazy.
with his
He played an
mobility,
excellent game.
mostly.
Michigan State, they barely cover against Indiana, 20-15. Oklahoma State beats Texas outright. I picked Oklahoma State in that game. Texas looked good for 3 quarters, and then in the final quarter they imploded.
Yeah, it seems to be their pattern.
At A&M, they cover easy. Cincinnati, you had them covering Tim. They rolled UCF today. They scored.
Did you hear us talking about the what we feel is kind of unjustified with the Big Ten rankings right now, having Ohio State ahead of both Penn State and Michigan, and
Michigan
and
State.
despite the fact that
That
Ohio
two
State's
two te-
lost
two teams are
to
undefeated
Oregon.
in the Big Ten, and they're
Well,
behind
Penn State
three.
has one loss, but to Iowa,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm talking about Michigan and Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
They're both behind all three of those two. Obviously, we can't see where they're going to throw Iowa now, but you can't expect Iowa to be in the top 7. I don't think. after this weekend. That was a stinky performance they had. They look bad.
They might drop down to number 7.
Yeah.
See, I just don't know if the voters are going to say, "Oh well, they beat Penn State, so we're going to keep them ahead of Penn State."
Because they
You just
haven't
can't
done
trust them to do that.
No, because Oregon should be ahead of Penn State if we're going to count it that way. Michigan State, they have no reason right now to not be in the top 10, handily in the top 10, to where if they keep taking care of their business and they go undefeated, they should be one of the top 4 teams.
Well, that's the only thing with what Des is saying there. I mean, it's a whole new year. I mean, what Ohio State did last year, or the year before, has nothing to do with this team.
And the thing of it is, Ohio State does not rule the Big Ten now. They're third place right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're third place. They're not even going to get to play for it in the Big Ten title game. They're not even going to get to play for a Big Ten title because Michigan and Michigan State both are ahead of them. And only one of them teams probably loses. Yeah. If let's just say for shits and giggles, I saw Michigan State play today. Let's say Michigan beats Michigan State. All right. Michigan State would then go to either 6-1 or 7-1. That would be Michigan State. Michigan would go to 7-0, ready to play the championship against the West team, which looks like right now, if nothing happens, probably Iowa. That would be Iowa versus Michigan. If Michigan wins that ball game, no way in hell Ohio State can jump them. There's no way.
Michigan State plays Michigan next week.
Yes.
Or 2 weeks from now. They got an off week.
Yeah, they play right there. They play Halloween weekend.
Right.
Yeah. And then they're playing in Ann Arbor, or they playing in Lansing.
It's Lansing, East Lansing.
So they're playing at Michigan State. Let's say Michigan wins this game, and they win out. How can anybody think that Ohio State even belongs in it? There's no way. There's no way. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, no, it's always got to be the record that trumps. I mean, granted, if Michigan can run through Michigan State and Ohio State, can't see how they can't be in the, and especially if they win the conference title, an undefeated big or Power 5 conference champion should at least be top 5.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Unless you're an ACC team, it sucks, and you're going to be a 2 or 3 loss team. We saw Virginia.
True. I mean, that's why I qualified with undefeated.
Yeah. But you can be a 1-loss team in a Power 5 conference and maybe be considered for one of those top 4 spots. But right now, Georgia's set number 1. Is Cincinnati number 2 in your book?
Should be, yes.
All right. Number 3, would you put Oklahoma number 3 in your book?
They're undefeated. Boy, they haven't exactly played,
They were number 4. They were number 4 coming into the weekend.
I mean, they've got the Al Davis just win, and they've won. So,
yeah. Right now, they're still playing right now, though. So we don't know whether they're going to win.
I wouldn't be surprised if the voters didn't leap Alabama ahead of Oklahoma this week if they win big.
What about this one? Let's think about this one. What if Oklahoma jumped ahead of Cincinnati? What if that happened?
Oh,
Wouldn't that be some criminal shit? Wouldn't that be? Because if they kept Cincinnati at number 3, all that is setting them up for the boom. Because I tell you what's going to happen. They could still lose their conference championship, yes, and that would doom them in anyway. They cannot afford to lose. But having Alabama on your heels, as well as a Big Ten champion that probably is going to go undefeated, that is not going to be any fun for a team like Cincinnati if they get leapfrogged.
Unless they think the Big 12 is better than whatever conference Cincinnati's in.
Is it Conference USA?
No, I think it's the AAC.
AAC, I think. Yeah.
AAC, okay.
And now Oklahoma, we just talked about them, 17-14 in the second quarter, a minute and a half left to go. TCU just scored.
I'll put that game on in about 15 to 20 minutes after the Blue Jackets game.
I gotcha. St. Louis Cardinals. Did they fire their manager?
Yeah, they did. Schilt got
Yeah.
fired.
Schilt got fired. Um, who should the Cardinals hire? Oh boy.
How about is Jose Oquendo still part of that organization?
I don't know. I don't know if he is or not. I do not know. Man, I'll tell you.
I mean, that's philosophical difference. I'm betting it was you have to fire him, and him, or else you lose your job.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that's all that was.
Probably.
I was a little bit surprised by that move, but it is what it is.
Wow. That's a good question right there.
No, I don't think it would be McGuire.
Not McGuire. Yadier Molina, if he was retiring this year,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
he would be a great person to put in there. I don't think catchers get enough credit a lot of times. They understand pitch.
And I think Tim mentioned Alomar before. I mean, eventually somebody's going to give him a job.
Sandy Alomar.
Oh.
Sandy Alomar.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't think it would be the Cardinals. So I think Sandy Alomar
may want to stay closer to this region, like Cleveland, Detroit.
Right. Cincinnati even. If Cincinnati has a job opening. Pittsburgh always has a damn job opening. How about Bruce Bochy? I don't like Bruce Bochy for now. I don't like Bruce Bochy for the St. Louis. Not me. I think Bruce Bochy would make a better Yankees manager. I think Bruce Bochy would make a better Yankees manager because Bruce Bochy would bring in the strength of what they need. They need somebody to lay the hammer down on those dudes.
And he's got enough experience and success that he can survive in a big market like that with that kind of media.
And he doesn't get whimpered around and shit. Brad Ausmus, I tell you, Brad Ausmus can do so much with so little. I think he would work out somewhere really well, like Oakland, Tampa. I don't think Tampa's going to get rid of their manager this year, though.
No.
But
when will the Mets ever get another manager that stays there more than 3 years?
Well, the problem
or a year.
Their problem is they never do perform up to standards, and they stay hurt all the damn time. If the Yankees do what the Yankees could do, I guess, and that is hire Don Mattingly. Brad Ausmus would be one hell of a hire down in Miami. Brad Ausmus can work with a young pitching staff. Brad Ausmus, if that would be the place I would hire him. But it's all a matter of whether Mattingly gets a call. I still say Boone gets fired. I'm not sure they're waiting for some reason. I think Boone will still get fired. Why would you hold on to him?
Another name
I think he's lost the clubhouse pretty much.
Might be considered because technically he's sort of close by is like a Ned Yost. Maybe he comes out of retirement having managed the Royals.
For the Cardinals job, you mean?
Yeah, for the Cardinals job.
Yeah, he knows the Central good as anybody with the Brewers when he had the Brewers.
Rob just mentioned him the other day that you'd like him for the Phillies.
I would love for him to come to the Phillies, but he's 70 years old. That's the one problem. His age.
Well, how old's LaRussa? 80?
Well, LaRussa, man, he's sleeping on the bench. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, he might be out too. I wouldn't.
Yeah, he may even call it a year. Call it a career. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he retired, walked away. I don't think they'll fire him just because he made it the postseason, but.
Didn't the Padres fire their manager too, Tingler?
Yeah, they got rid of their guy. Padres got rid of him. And the thing of it is, they had so much problem within. I mean, they were fighting within the last 3 weeks. Top 5.
Yeah, Machado and Tatis were at it.
Yes, they were. And Machado's never been a team guy. Machado didn't get along with a lot of guys in Baltimore. He and
Adam Jones?
No, he and the first baseman, 115.
Davis?
Yeah,
Who
Davis.
are Oliver Marmol and Stubby
Stubby Clapp,
Clapp?
Skip
That sounds like
Schumacher,
that sounds
Buck
like the names of
Showalter,
your
Yanni
demo
Moreno.
derby drivers.
Yeah, Skip Schumacher actually was he played for the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that name. And Showalter, I know.
Buck Showalter. I think you know what, and I don't like to be I don't like to down people, but I don't think Buck Showalter has enough sense to know how to work on a National League bench. He's been too much around the DH.
Well,
sorry guys.
The,
they might go to the DH soon enough
yeah,
anyway.
I think it's probably going to the DH anyway this year. But Showalter, to me, uh, I wouldn't want him. That's just me. I just don't think he
His
carries enough.
temperament to me seems kind of questionable. I don't know how that works
Yeah,
in the clubhouse
he
in the modern
he,
game.
he gets pissed real easy. Um,
Hmm.
he's a lot like like a guy that Pittsburgh had.
I was just saying that
Clint
Clint Hurdle.
Hurdle.
Yeah.
Clint Hurdle, yeah. Except Hurdle stayed pissed more. It's a
Whoa.
wonder Hurdle
Well,
didn't have
Hurdle
a
was
damn
always
stroke.
getting his guys to throw at other players, and it seemed like
Oh
there was
yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
bench clearing brawls when he was there.
kept drama going in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh when he was
between
there.
them and the
Yeah.
Reds especially.
Yeah.
Brad Ausmus, though, he's interesting. He's an interesting cat. If you can get him, um, certain teams I think would love to have him. Uh, maybe a team like Colorado. Colorado's not going to have anything anyway. But if you're ever going to overperform, I think he's one guy that you might overperform for. I don't think Colorado can win the West with
No. Well,
with the three teams above them being San Francisco outplayed them so much, and that was a surprise. The Dodgers and then the Padres are so much better that whoever would step into that job if they went into Colorado, they cannot expect him to do any better than fourth. If they do, you're expecting way too much.
I will say this
Open,
though: for
unless
as
you
bad
open
as
your wallet
Colorado
about 80 million.
was, they had a heck of a home record.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they were at least, I think, 47 or 48 wins at home this year. Just they couldn't play on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if that, with the way that the ball carries there, that the pitchers that they have get used to not having the same type of games that other pitchers do.
Right.
That's got to be an intimidating place for road pitchers to come in.
Because especially a guy that throws curveballs, because you just cannot throw a curveball a little over a mile heights. It just will not curve for you. It just stays straight, and that can't be a good thing if you throw 79 to 85 mile-an-hour curveballs, and then all of a sudden they become straight pitches,
Hmm.
and they're coming in there at 75 miles, 80
Yeah.
miles an hour. Somebody's killing them. Yes.
All you can do is change location and speed.
and
Yeah.
jump out of the way in case you get hit right back in your face because,
Yeah.
they're going to get pounded. Padres are finalizing a list of managerial candidates to interview, but names include Bochy. Um, I don't think Bochy would go back there. Showalter. Jeff Bannister's an interesting name. John Gibbons. Gibbons was with Baltimore.
Ron
Wait.
Renneke, he's got to be getting up there
Ron
too.
Renneke, yeah. John Farrell, he was with Boston, and then he
Yeah.
ended up getting his fate. And Brad Ausmus. I like, of all of those candidates, I like Ausmus the best. But I can tell you this:
Uh-huh.
if I was up for a job, that's not the team I want to manage. Too many attitudes and too many guys that I couldn't understand if they were raising hell with me, because it's so many Latin Americans on that team. I think you need a Latin American connection to that. Jose Akendo may be a good name.
Yeah, it's getting
I
to be
don't-
a lot of teams that are starting to have
Yeah, I think you need.
good presence of Latin players.
Right, and I just think if you're going, especially the star players, Tatis
Mhm.
Mhm.
and
Machado and
Machado, I
Mhm.
think you want somebody in there that's not going to take any bullshit from them. Number one, and then number two, that can speak in language. So if they hear them under their breath, or whatever the hell they're saying, you can't understand it if you're English. But if you speak in language, oh, you're like, okay, you better watch what the hell you say. You could get fined and you may get sent down.
Mm.
Whatever. That's what they need. They need somebody that's not scared of them. It's not intimidated by them, and somebody lay the damn law to them. Because the problem is too many people that's just sitting there just biding their time. Like, okay, I'm the manager of this team, but this guy's the star of the team, and I can't say anything to. How about Pujols? I don't know if Pujols wants to manage or not. That'd be a hell of a name, but I don't know if Pujols wants to manage. And besides that, I've never really known Pujols to really take the captaincy type
Mm.
deal. Even when he was in St. Louis, he never give me the attitude that he really wanted to do managing. What about you, Tim? What do you think?
No, I don't. I don't see Pujols. I see Pujols as possibly being a batting coach.
A bench coach of some sort. Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
you get him to try to show kids how to hit. Fine.
Was Todd Zeal ever a guy that was considered for a manager's job?
Todd Zeal, he had a lot of attitude about him too. He had some flair to him, and
He was he played a
I
lot of
don't know.
positions.
He played a lot of third base, and then I think
He was a
got
catcher
thrown
for a little bit.
got thrown outfield a little bit too. Yeah. LOL, A-Rod. Now,
No,
A-Rod's got too much baggage. A-Rod's got way too
he
much
he's got
baggage.
his cushy position doing color commentary.
And
Yeah.
ESPN, yeah,
No,
he's got too much baggage behind him too. Because trust me,
How about Pudge Rodriguez?
oh, that would be a hell of a name. But the problem is, Pudge Rodriguez. Um, I just don't know where he stands as far as if he's done any minor league or if he's done any bench coaching, because I've not heard his name mentioned. Have y'all even heard of him being a bench coach anywhere?
no, and I guess
It's
I need
hard
to
to hire
look at
somebody straight off his street.
who are the managers for certain minor league teams.
Raiders, Brian Daboll, Wink Martindale, Jeff Halfley, Derek Ansley. Um, Wink Martindale probably he's right there. If to me right now, what's up numbers? I would say right now Wink Martindale has probably got the inside track of that Raiders job, unless they
Wink Martindale?
that's his real name. Wink Martindale's his name. Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, imagine the jokes that will happen.
Yeah. If they want to go with
You got to be careful with jokes nowadays, though. That
Yeah.
get you in trouble.
If they want to go with a popular guy that's a hot commodity, you might want to go with Bieniemy from the Chiefs. He's been named so many places. He's probably if Wink Martindale doesn't get the job, I think Bieniemy will be the next coach after Reed retires for the Chiefs. I don't think so. I don't think he'll wait that long. I think he'll go somewhere else before, unless Reed retires in the next 2 years. But I think
He played at Colorado. Was that right? Am I thinking right, guy?
He was
A running back
He was
or
a
receiver?
running back. He was a running back for Colorado. Then he played, I want to say maybe for the Chargers.
Cincinnati, the Chargers, and maybe the Chiefs.
Yeah, he may have played a little bit for the Chiefs, but Bieniemy's a big guy now, and he's a big name. I think personally, I think he'll end up going somewhere after this season if he doesn't go before the season's over with. There's so many places he could go. He could probably have the USC job if he wanted it. I really think he could have that job. Bieniemy could probably have. I don't know the situation in Vegas. To me, what place would you rather coach than go somewhere like Vegas or Phoenix? I mean, you go to friggin' Arizona, you can play golf 5 days a week. You go to Vegas, you can play golf 5 days a week. What's up, Larry Harris? Why wouldn't you? If you had the chance, You got a somewhat decent quarterback. They've been playing for their coach all year long. You get a chance to go in there with a fresh start. If I had the chance to go to Raiders, I would jump at that chance. Um, you're going to have to get yourself a new quarterback in the next probably 3 or 4 years, but there's some good ones coming out, and you may not have to fight, kind of like this last couple drafts, for a good quarterback because so many teams now have good young quarterbacks. Um,
James Franklin.
I think James Franklin goes to USC. Well, I thought by now he'd been gone. I would have already offered him the job. I don't understand. I don't understand why USC is waiting until the end of the season. Okay, Penn State's not making it to the playoff. Penn State's not going to be a playoff team this year. Take James Franklin, offer him the money you're going to offer him, and get him out there. Arians gets fired. I doubt that seriously. Arians will not be getting fired unless he's done something wrong. But Arians will not be getting fired. What's he, 6-1? Rob, your volume is soft. Keith, volume is perfect. Yeah, that's what they've been telling me. They've been telling me all evening that my volume has been a little low here. Let's see if I can turn this up here. All right.
It was for me earlier, but then I wasn't sure if that was because of my settings or
yours.
Can
you hear me, Tim?
Yes, I can hear you. I understand the little softness, but it's okay.
All right. Well, let's see. Let me see if I can do something about it. I've been trying to. Let me try that. I don't know if that'll do it or not. Let me do my microphone.
There may be some microphone settings that you can play around with. That's worse.
Yeah, that's worse, bro.
How about now? Is that any better? Is that back better? How about
It's
now?
not really.
How about now?
That's usually the volume of your normal videos anyway. I don't know why everybody's kind of,
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, that's
10-4, 10-4, 10-4. Is
that's
that
better. That's better.
Okay. All right. How about that? How about that?
That'll work.
All right. Let's do that then. Yeah. All right. Now, let's see if I can get that turned around here. And I'm actually going to turn the volume up just a little bit more. How about that? 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. All right. All right. That is much better. All right. Sounds good. Who would win this college football playoff? It's hard to go back seasons and stuff like that. Right now, who are the 4 teams even in the playoffs, guys? To me, I will tell you who I think are
I'd probably say 2020 Alabama.
2019 LSU was tough though. Even though Orgeron has only went 500 since then, which is crazy. They got his job this year. He's gone.
I'm not throwing any of Ohio State's recent teams, although if you want to run the 68 Ohio State team in there, go for it.
Who were the stars of that team, Tim?
Not really many that went to the pros, but Rex Kern was a heck of a quarterback from all the stories that I've read.
Okay.
And Jim Otis might have been on the team. I don't know. But and then again, the next year, they lost to Michigan, and when they were Ohio State was heavily favored. So.
When was Griffin there? In the early 70s?
Yeah,
74, 4 and 5.
74 and 75, he won the Heisman.
Yeah, Rob doing Orgeron impression. Well, if you ask me one more time, that we did play really well today. My hot wife, she's on the sideline right now, but don't worry, we're gonna go.
An argument between Orgeron and Tony Romo.
or Orgeron and
I
Lurch.
can I can see what they're gonna do next, guys. They're fixing to run a backwards twist and turn play.
Ed Orgeron and radio host Scotty Farrell.
Oh, I hate that voice.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going on.
And
how about
the guy on the MLB network? What's that damn guy's name? They call him. He's about 60 years old. He doesn't look that old now. He does a radio show, but he.
Not Chris Rose. No, the guy that Chris Russo.
Mad Dog?
Mad Dog Russo. Yeah, Chris Rose left to go to the NFL Network. He's going to the NFL Network.
I thought he was
already
an
Ohio boy.
Oh well, yeah, but he left. What's his name? Hanging the guy from the Red Sox.
Oh, Kevin Millar.
Kevin Millar. Yeah.
Richard Pryor. I never thought I'd see his name behind mine.
Nothing like listening to Jerry Remy.
I never set myself on fire. Numbers. I don't know.
we hit Orioles Park at Camden Yards, and I tell you, it's 64 degrees here at the stadium tonight, and I couldn't believe the general entrance I got tonight. I was met by 14 other people on the way in here. They said they couldn't park the cars. They had so much problem in the parking lot. I don't understand it at all. We have been here for 4 hours, and I do not understand it. The clam chowder here sucks ass. I don't know.
I don't even know who you're doing, but
I think he's doing Dusty Rhodes with a Boston accent.
It sounded like a wrestler.
Tried to do a Jerry Remy there. I don't know. Rob, Tim, Keith, who are your top 3 Heisman winners of all time?
Oh, gosh,
number one has got to be Ohio State man. He won 2.
Yeah. The year that Ricky Williams won, he had a great season.
And Tebow was just a good. He was a great college athlete, so it's hard to say. 2-2
Right.
Braves, Dodgers 2-2, bottom of the 4th. Did the Red Sox officially win today?
Yes, they did.
They did. Okay, I didn't see the end of the game.
9-5, I think, or 9-3. I think.
Yeah.
So, who would you rank higher between Cam Newton and Tim Tebow?
Tebow. Cam Newton had one great year, but Tebow had 2 or 3. He all 3 of his final years, he could have almost won it Heisman 3 different times. LSU pulls the upset. Orgeron holds his job for another week. Michigan State covers 4.5 points, 20-15, in a lackadaisical win over Indiana. UCF gets blown off the field by Cincinnati by 30.
Well, here after Archie Griffin, you had, and then year to year, you had Tony Dorsett, Earl Campbell, Billy Sims, Charles White, George Rogers, Marcus Allen, Herschel Walker, Mike Rozier, Doug Flutie, Bo Jackson. I mean, that is a lot of good running backs in there.
Then you had Woodson come up pretty soon after that.
Oh, yeah, and Tim Brown, too. And Tim Brown was pretty good.
Georgia does not cover, but Georgia wins today, 30-13. Auburn, Harris Jessup's favorite team outside the top 25. Don't worry, they won't be outside the top 25 next week. They beat number 17 Arkansas 38-23. Purdue pulls off the upset of the day, 24-7, beating number 2 Iowa. Iowa will now fall out of the top 5. Just how far will they fall, though? I don't know.
Is NC State Boston College? Is that a game of final yet? Or?
No, I don't. NC State Boston College is still playing right now. Alabama 28-9. Mississippi State with the ball, and they are keeping it within range there, with only 19-point lead. Oklahoma halftime 24-14 over TCU. Ole Miss 24. Ole Miss 24. Tennessee 9. And NC State in the third quarter, 12:03 left in the third quarter, winning 16-7 over Boston College. Boston College with the ball right now. Don't forget,
I'm getting that one wrong.
10 o'clock tonight. Number 18, ASU, Arizona State University, will travel to Utah. And we're all split on that one. That's a pick'em game. I like Utah. Tim likes Utah. Keith likes Arizona State tonight. Couple of my favorites were Tony Dorsett, Billy Sims. I'm a Buckeyes fan, so I'll always favor Archie Griffin.
Where did Jim Brown play?
Syracuse.
Syracuse, yeah.
And he didn't win one?
No.
Ernie Davis won one there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sadly died not too long after that.
Yeah, they made a movie about him, didn't they?
Yeah, The Express.
Mm-hmm.
What is one
Roger
college?
Staubach.
What is one college football non-conference you want to see this year? Non-conference game I would like to see this year. I would love to see. It's not going to happen because I would like it to be a non-playoff game. I would love to see Ohio State and Notre Dame try to strengthen their odds of trying to make it to the college football playoff. Not happening, but I would like to see that.
You know what? Give me like Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati. Let's see what Coastal Carolina really has.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. The thing of it is, if they beat Cincinnati, then you got yourself a clusterfuck. Because
and that's okay, fine. Fine.
But,
and you know what? Coastal Carolina's like, put some respect on our name.
Yeah.
You know, we beat BYU on short notice 2 years ago.
Right, last year, yeah. And
granted, they lost to Liberty in a bowl game, but you know.
Yeah, Liberty did beat them. We're making it yet. Ohio State's Larry Harris says, well, Larry, the problem that Ohio State has is right now they would not be in the Big East. The Big Ten championship game. How many undefeated teams are left? Oh, wow. Help me out, guys. It's Cincinnati. Is Coastal still undefeated?
Yeah.
We've still got Michigan. We got Michigan State. We got Oklahoma. We got Oklahoma State. We've got Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We've got there's no problem at all. See, the thing is, though, Larry, they're not going to make it to the Final Four if they don't pass Michigan and Michigan State, and they can't pass both of them. They're going to play one of them, but do they play both of them? Does Michigan State play Ohio State? I don't think they do. If they do, it gets taken care of in their own self. But let's say Michigan State beats Michigan next week. If Michigan State does not lose, if they don't lose, you do play. He says they do play Michigan State.
Well, they get Penn State in 2 weeks.
Who is that?
Ohio State.
Okay.
Then after Penn State,
Wake Forest is unbeaten.
Oh, good point.
oh yeah, that's right. Wake Forest. And then Cincinnati, we hadn't. I'm not sure I said Cincinnati. But he's saying Ohio State is playing not only Penn State, they're playing Michigan and Michigan State.
Yes, back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. They're not going. I don't think they'll run the table and win all three. What do you think, Tim? Ohio State, do they win?
It'll be very difficult.
Where's all three? All right, they play in Penn State at.
Well, it's at Michigan because it's an odd number year.
Okay.
Michigan State plays Ohio State in Columbus.
Okay, and then what about Penn State? That's right. San Diego State's still undefeated too. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's at Ohio State as well.
Okay, so they got two at home, but no. What were you cheering at?
Blue Jackets won in overtime against Seattle.
Okay.
All right.
I see where I watch a young lady on here. She's big into the Sabres. And I see where the Buffalo Sabres, I see they won their first game. They beat
They beat Montreal down.
Montreal 5-1. Yeah, they beat the hell out of Montreal. So, yeah, they meant business. Um, yeah. Um, and I'm not down in. Um, you should
Yeah,
you should have your cat
you're
make
right,
picks for you,
Des.
Keith.
Yeah, she'd do better than I do.
Um, I'm not down in Ohio State. I'm just saying what Ohio State's position is right now. They're going to be in an awful difficult position to say that the only way Ohio State gets in is if they beat Penn State, they beat Michigan State, they beat Michigan, and then they beat Iowa. They're going to have to run the table all the way through there. I don't think
I
it happens.
agree.
What do you think, Tim? Does it happen?
I don't. It's. I don't think so. But trust me, it'd be the best coaching job Ryan Day has done if he pulls it off.
Yeah, but I don't think it happens.
What was your statement, Rob?
If this is the way Ohio State can make it playoffs, Ohio State still plays Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
They still play Michigan State. They still play Penn State. And then if they win all those games, they'll play Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. They got to win all 4 of those games.
Yeah, so they kind of control their own destiny at least.
They do control their own destiny. But do you think they win all 4 of those games? Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State.
I mean, if you put the probability of each individual game and multiply that out statistically, it would probably give them about a 25-30% chance of doing that.
Probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, I agree. I think if you probably put $100 in Vegas, you probably win $800 coming back to you. If you put it on all 4 games, but
or if you're just like escalated your winnings on each of them, then
yeah. I think that'd be the way to go. Though, is just parlay it.
Well, you can't parlay future games without them knowing the lines.
And
or not when they don't know the lines.
And saying they had a 25% chance of doing that might even be high.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just assuming that they might be better than a couple of those teams.
Right. 2 of those teams they'd be at home, and one of them be a neutral site game, and then one of them would be on the road, straight on the road. Did you say at Michigan?
Yes, odd year always is at Michigan.
Rob, what are your thoughts on Zach Ertz getting traded to the Cardinals? Well, at the end of last season, they were saying Zach Ertz had played his last game at Philadelphia. He came back this year, played really tough Thursday night. If you watched him play, he played a tough game. They get beat by the Bucs. Now he gets traded to the Cardinals on Friday morning. He can't play this Sunday. You can't play 2 teams the same week. So Zach Ertz can't play against can't play against the Browns this week. Yeah, he can't play against the Browns this week. But the Cardinals are stacking up. They are really, really, really stacking up a team.
They gave up a defensive back and a draft pick, was it, or something?
Yeah, right. They gave up a 5th rounder and a defensive back. Yep. Spencer Rattler is transferring. That's what I keep hearing. TCU. But I don't know if that's right. That's what I've been hearing. TCU, Rattler wants out. So we will see.
If somebody is watching that game, tell me how TCU's quarterback is doing that he could transfer there.
I don't know exactly. Nowadays, transfer is not the way it was 5-10 years ago. Iowa will not win the West. No offense. Who will win the West?
Yeah, I don't see any competition there.
Wisconsin? I don't know. And if they've already beat, he's from Phoenix. Okay. So
Minnesota, Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, Nebraska. There's none of those teams there.
Yeah. I think Iowa wins the West.
Well, Alabama just scored on a 51-yard touchdown reception, so they're up 34-9.
34-9. Okay. Yeah. Bryce Young now. Bryce Young, right at 280 yards, passing today, 3 touchdowns, and we're just we're getting close to about 3:28 left to go in the third, 325.
What kind of quarterback does Harbaugh have playing for him up at Michigan right now?
You know what? I have not seen Michigan play at all this year. All I know is Michigan's defense has been showing up for every game so far. That's the number one thing they've got to do. That's the number one thing you got to do in the Big Ten. Your defense has got to show up. And look, Iowa's defense did not show up today, and their offense scored 7 at home. They have nothing to bitch about.
Iowa's been cursed anytime they get into the top 5. Like I think they said this is the first time since '85 they've been in the top 2, and when they were number 1 in '85, Ohio State beat them at their home field with when Chuck Long was quarterback.
Was Hayden Fry still the coach back then?
Yep.
Fry was a coach, and like you said, Chuck Long, that team up north quarterback is playing well so far. Larry Harris says the quarterback from up in Michigan is playing well. Okay. Oklahoma still in halftime, 24-14 over TCU. TCU, if you want a monkey wrench in this whole damn deal, what if TCU beats Oklahoma tonight? Then Oklahoma will fall, but I guarantee you they won't fall as far as Oklahoma State is. Oklahoma State started the weekend 12th, undefeated. They won't fall that far. It's going to be a lot of one-loss teams fighting for that number 4 position. No doubt about it. But Oklahoma is a beatable team. We know that. In fact, when me and Keith first came on, when we first come on the air, Keith said, was that you said you thought they were a one-loss team? Oklahoma.
Yeah, they had so many close games. The last 4 or 5. And Nebraska even played them tough, which was a surprise.
Right.
Yes.
Kansas State was close. Texas was close.
Worst football coach of all time.
Oh boy.
Bobby Patino. I don't know.
Well, worst college football coach.
Bobby Patino. How long did he last though? He got fired.
Do you mean in the NFL though, or
he didn't last long in college after he got?
No, Petrino put a note up in the locker room that he was gone.
Leaving.
Yeah.
He was at what? Was he at Louisville?
Oh
no, he was with the Falcons, and then he went to Arkansas.
Yeah. What about wasn't Charlie Weiss the coach of Notre Dame for?
Yeah,
he was pretty bad.
How about Willingham?
Yeah,
Willingham was pretty bad too.
Oklahoma
State is playing well as they are under everybody's radar. I picked. Yeah,
he's got somebody.
So the guy that coached Rutgers after
that was a disaster.
Chris Ash was a coordinator for Ohio State. He maybe won 3 or 4 games in 4 years.
And then they bring back their old coach.
Yep.
Yep. Jerry Faust. Yeah, he sucked too. He was really bad. Yeah.
Charlie Weiss. He went to Kansas or something, didn't he? Get fired down there too.
He may have. That's a dearth to go down there. Yeah. Like, oof.
Oklahoma State is playing under everybody's radar except mine, man. I picked Oklahoma State. I got 5.5 points today.
Who was that
against Texas?
That really big, heavy college basketball coach that went to Utah after
Rick Majerus.
Rick Majerus. He passed away. Yeah, he had a heart attack. He was actually a good coach, I think.
Great. Well, he had great talent in the late 90s. Andre Miller, Keith Van Horn, Michael Doliak.
Dan Hawkins at Colorado, Rich Rodriguez at...
Yeah. Well, and here's the funny thing:
Rodriguez was the
better coach that Michigan had. Brady Hoke actually kept those games that he lost against Ohio State very close. They were a 2-point conversion away from winning one of those games.
Yep. Rich Rodriguez Rich Rodriguez. He went to Michigan, right?
Yeah, from West Virginia.
Yeah. He came after Brady Hoke, and then he got Yeah, they couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Right. Yeah, he went 2 or 3 different places.
Yeah, his successor took
West Virginia down
to Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl that year, I think.
Jaden Hazelwood from 16 yards out. So it's 30 to.
Who's the coach at Florida State right now?
Florida State got a new coach. Not, they got one as soon as the guy ended up leaving, going to USC.
Miami's had a couple of guys that didn't do too well.
Florida State needs to stay with status quo. They need to let a guy come in there and be like, okay, this is my freshman team. They're going to be sophomores and juniors, and see what they can do. They're going to have to take their bumps. They got to take their lumps. They got to take their bumps. But that's a team you cannot afford right now to say, well, look at Lane Kiffin down in Ole Miss. We'll bring him to Florida State. Hell no. Number one, Lane Kiffin, he stays in one city about as long as sometimes my ass lays in one bed. It doesn't stay that long. He doesn't last long. Rex Ryan needs to go on Subway diet, and/or Rob Ryan and Romeo Cornell needs to join him.
Okay, so the Florida State coach is Mike Norvell, who coached at Memphis prior to that when he had he had a decent little run there.
Yeah,
he does not need to go anywhere.
No.
I'm here. I've been hearing people down in Florida saying we got to get us a name. We got to look. Your best thing to do is you keep a guy that wants to be good. It does, and it's like if you go out here and get let's say you go get a big name coach like Urban Meyer. You don't expect him to be there 4 years from now, 3 years from now, and that's when his recruits start moving up, and they're going to be pissed, be like, well, that asshole just left me hanging and all. That is not what they want to see. They want to come play for the guy that recruited them, and that's what you need. You need to sign this guy for 10 years, sign him for $2.5 million, and then, okay, if you win 10 games, we'll give you an extra $2 million. If you make it to a New Year's Day bowl, there's another $1.5 million for you. If you make it to the playoff, there's $4 more million waiting for you right there. And play incentive field, throw it on there to where he can win. He can have $100 million, but make it to where if you go out here and have a 6 and 5 year, okay, your money's going to show it too. So that kind of situation. Best college football game you've ever seen.
Ooh.
I was watching this little documentary today that was on ACC Network, and it was talking about the '86 Duke team. They had like a little round table thing, and how that roster with the run that they made that year kind of saved Coach K's job, and then that kind of
you talk about basketball.
It's kind of thing that Florida State probably needs. They need a coach that can get there, maybe win, at least have a team that overachieves what their talent seems to be for a few years in a row. Then all of a sudden, recruits might start paying attention to the university again.
Look, why would you not want to go to Tallahassee? Number one, you got a beach. Number two, you got great weather. Number three, you got golf and everywhere around. Number four, you got girls everywhere. And number five, the football team has a legacy. They have won in the past.
Bobby Bowden.
Right. Why would you not want to come and kind of cement your name in there where Deion Sanders' name's already at, where Charlie Ward's name's already at? Why not? That would be the place to go.
I think.
Yeah. Who was that?
Warren. Yep. And the other thing is that, and speaking of that, Bobby Bowden was the head coach of West Virginia before he went to Florida State, but didn't.
That's right.
Granted, the only bit I know of is from the We Are Marshall movie.
Right.
He was.
You let the guy watch those films, those tapes.
Yeah, watch the tapes. Yeah. Well, we don't know if that's true or not, but hey, that's a nice way to kind of work it in the story. But was he really all that hot? Before he got there, and he had to build that program up from almost nothing.
Well, that's the thing. Same thing with Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, he came there in 86. All right? He came there in 85 or 86. And they had, their biggest win up to date then was against a team, Cincinnati. Right there, back in that day.
I would throw out the best game I wish I would have seen. 2006 Ohio State Michigan 42-39. I'll throw that out there as one of the best games I wish I would have seen.
It's been a lot of, man. I tell you what, the old Flutie throw in was 84.
I think
yeah,
it was 84.
Was it Boston College Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that game on TV.
What was it?
Man.
Phelan was the name of the guy that caught the ball?
Gerard Phelan, his roommates.
What was
his roommate?
What was his first name?
Gerard
Phelan. Okay.
And that was the year BYU won the national championship with Bosco?
84.
Yep.
It was. Yep. Cliff Kingsbury, I saw that earlier. The Cardinals coach has COVID. He is out this week.
So is their offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Their defensive coordinator or co-defensive coordinators, something like that, are coaching the team this week. So and then they got a couple of players. They got some players out too.
Is Pagano still? Where's he at now?
I don't think he's coaching anywhere.
Chuck Pagano?
Yeah. It seemed like the Colts did better when Arians was filling in for him that one year.
Where did Chuck Pagano go?
The Bears had him as a defensive coordinator when the guy for
is he in
Fangio
Minnesota?
went to Denver.
Is he in Minnesota now, Chuck Pagano?
I don't know.
He's not coaching this year.
He's not coaching at all this year. Okay.
Right. He coached until 2017.
I think Minnesota offered him a defensive job of some sort. May have been defensive coach. And
he's the Bears' defensive coordinator.
He's still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
2019.
I just hadn't heard his name mentioned this year, so I wasn't sure if he wasn't on.
Yeah, Pagano is a Bears defensive coordinator. Okay, how many games does ALCS? 7 games. 7 if it goes all the way. American League, it's Houston won, Boston won, and National League just starts tonight. So big advantage for the American League when they start the World Series, because I think the National League's only going to have 1 or 2 days off, depending on how many games they play. If they go 6 games, I don't think they're going to have maybe 2-3 days off. If they go 5 or less, which it could happen, yes, it could.
Steve,
I think everybody is picking the Dodgers, but me. I like the Braves in this series. I really do. I think the Braves have come together.
If Boston wins, the NL team will have the home field regardless. If Houston wins, then
National League
they wouldn't have it over the Braves, but they'd have it over the
Dodgers.
Dodgers would have it over them.
Oh, really?
No, because the Dodgers are a wild card team, so I don't think they get a chance to have it, do
That's
they?
right. Stupid, and that's why the Braves have home field.
But so is Boston. Boston is
right.
Boston. So if it goes to Boston, I think the National League team has the home
I think
field.
Houston's the number 1 seed of the teams remaining. Then it's Atlanta, then it's LA, and then Boston.
But I think the National League team has the home field advantage game 1 already.
It's the team with a better record.
Well, okay, so here's the thing but
the wild card has to be against a wild card.
Is the wild card team, because they're the wild card team, they get dismissed even if they have more wins for the World Series? Because I was expecting Florida to have home field in the NLCS, and because they claim that because the Braves win the division, they get home field. Okay, whatever.
Well, Larry, I think they will if they play Boston, but not if they play play Houston.
I'll just wait till it plays out. I'm not trying to play.
Yeah. It says game one.
Unless they throw the wild card thing out when it gets to the World Series, because they think, well, if team got this far, it shouldn't matter anymore if they were a wild card or.
Question for everybody: top 3 disliked sports teams of all time. Well, look, most of the disliked are
the most liked,
are also the most liked. Look at the Yankees. When the Yankees travel so well when they go to Baltimore, when they go to Boston, when they go to Toronto. But if you ask people out in the country, who do you like better? I mean, who's your worst team? You're going to have more people say the Yankees than you are going to say the Rangers. You're not going to have that many people say the Orioles. You're not going to have that many people say the Tigers. You're going to have more people say they can't stand the Braves, the Dodgers. But as far as baseball,
that's a good one. Patriots. I'm going to throw two other teams out there, and one might kind of surprise you.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys and Manchester United.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. It's popular teams that, well, look. Look right here. Look right here, folks. Look right here. Does anybody know who drove this car back 30 years ago?
Oh, the Intimidator.
His name was Dale Earnhardt. Right. And
I didn't know you were going to say 30 years ago. I thought you were going to say today.
25. Well, all right. Who do you think at a racetrack got the most cheers?
Dale.
But who do you think also got the most boos?
Oh, Dale, of course.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing you got to look at, guys. Hey, if you want to talk who's the most popular football team out there right now, I think if I was going to say the three most popular teams, I think Dallas Cowboys are definitely one of the three most popular teams. I'm not sure New England still is, because I think they've lost a little of their luster just due to the fact that they've lost TB12. But is Tampa one of the top three teams? I'm not so sure they are.
I don't think so.
I'm not so sure they are. But I definitely think Dallas is up there. I definitely think
there's a lot of Bears fans around too.
Probably Green Bay would be in the top
three.
Green Bay is a very, very, very popular team, and I guess maybe Kansas City. I don't know.
Pittsburgh travels very well.
Pittsburgh really does travel well. You're right. Yeah, but that's the same thing, though. That's the same difference. There's a lot of people that love Pittsburgh, and there's a lot of people that hate Pittsburgh. But the thing of it is, there's no in between very much.
The Raiders might still have a decent following because of their black and silver color.
Yeah, they do. How
about college football?
I think the Steelers, a lot of their luster glows with their coach being Tomlin, because to me, I think most people respect Tomlin because he takes zero bullshit, takes no bullshit, and I'll tell you something else he doesn't do. He doesn't play favorites. Now, he's got Roethlisberger, two-time Super Bowl champion, being his quarterback, and he probably is a little long in the tooth and probably should be gone already. But he is giving him the opportunity to at least play, and I will say this much. Roethlisberger is not a whiner. He will take a pounding. He will take a beating.
Yeah, you got to give him that.
Yeah, he's giving him at least that chance.
He's like the Michael Myers of the NFL. He just...
What is the best Halloween costume you ever wore? Oh man,
what's he saying? Best Halloween costume you ever dressed up as?
I went as Tonto one year. I dressed up like Tonto, not with with the Lone Ranger. I loved the Cowboys as a kid.
Trying to say, what's your favorite Christmas gift you've ever?
I don't even remember many of the things I wore. To be honest,
like a lot of that I had was like those plastic masks where you barely had enough room in the nose hole.
That's what my mom usually would get me. I mean, I might have had one or two exceptions to that. But.
Like I remember being like Spider-Man or Superman with a mask on, and I had the dog mask on too. For
it gets all wet and stuff in there. And
Even it being like mostly cold during late October.
Yeah.
Yep. You still.
I remember one year my dad took me out, and it started to rain, and the wind started to blow so hard that I literally could not breathe, and he had to shield me from the wind and stuff so I could breathe. Fortunately, my mom came out in the car looking for us, and she picked us up. But that was back in the 70s.
I wouldn't doubt if door-to-door trick-or-treat goes the way of the dodo, as I'm seeing more of this trunk or treat where people just, get in one parking lot, open up their trunks, and the kids go by. You ain't got to worry about kids walking the streets.
And they're worried about people putting stuff in the candy. And
Larry Harris. I remember as a kid, I dressed up as Dick Tracy, and yes, I had that Tracy mask. Dick Tracy.
Well, how many people had the Richard Nixon masks?
Now,
Yeah.
were you guys said it would ever go to a haunted house type of thing, or
Not
in
now.
the
I
neighborhood?
did like once or
I
twice.
used to. I used to when back.
Were they
Back.
good or were they not so good?
Oh, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were okay.
Paid about
Well,
five.
no, the Haunted
about
Forest, the
five-
one I went to, was really good.
Paid about $5 to go. Now they. I will admit this. Now they got in touch with the area. What do you call it? Pet shop. And what they did at the end, you had one of these sliding boards that spun around like this, and they had on the sides lit up. What do you call it? Aquariums with rattlesnakes and stuff like that in them. Yeah, real snakes and stuff, and you could, and they were pilling them with them a little bit so you could hear them go.
And if you can do the light just right, you probably don't see the glass and don't know if they're in
Oh,
it.
you can see the glass. You can, yeah, because they made sure they told you to keep your hands like this because they warned you ahead of time. Don't go knocking over the glass and stuff.
Oh.
But they did say there will be lights and stuff down there. Just keep your hands like this. So you kind of done like that, and then all of a sudden you seen them, and the way you were going at it, the damn things looked like it were right at you. It was crazy, man, because they tried to light it up and make them where they were right in front of you.
I remember at the local zoo, they had a area where I guess it was a panther, and there was this curtain you'd pull, and you'd go in there. When I first went in there, I didn't see anything except that cat. I didn't see any barrier in front of it. I backed out of there so fast, and I was like, whoa.
Larry Harris says, I went to one when I was in high school. I thought it was pretty good. Which horror movie character freaked you out the most?
Not a horror fan.
I'm not either.
No.
Not really.
much.
I'll tell you, when I was young, movie that kind of Jaws was kind of wild because
Yeah, that one did
that
kind of get to me there as a
yeah,
kid.
that was late '70s, early '80s when I was just
Yeah, it was a
becoming teenager.
1975 movie, I think. So it was probably
Yeah.
I was probably about 5 years old when I saw that one.
Oh, okay. I was probably 8, 9, something like that when I saw it. But yeah, Halloween and
Like Friday the 13th, The
None of
Nightmare on
that
Elm
stuff.
Street. No.
none of that stuff really does nothing for me.
The first Halloween was the one horror film outside of Jaws that I liked. It was a low budget film, but it wasn't so much like the slasher films that followed it. It was more of a psychological thing, and it was more the stalking type of thing going on, and it was just it got to your played with your mind more than it did.
Yeah.
There wasn't so much gore and stuff like that. It was just more of a
Well,
suspense type thing.
Let me ask you guys if you've ever seen this low budget film. This came out in '82 or '83. The New Kids. The New
Nope.
Kids. Now I'll tell you who was in it. Lori Laughlin. She's the one that got in trouble with her
Yeah.
dog about it. Remember
The
Lori Laughlin?
university. Yeah,
Right,
they're getting their
Lori
kids
Laughlin.
there.
James Spader was in this
Okay.
movie.
Blacklist guy.
James Spader, he played the bad guy kind of in the movie, and
Uh-huh.
the rest they was all red. It was just a redneck movie. I mean, they had to shooting pistols and stuff in the backyards and shit like that. But yeah, I was trying to think of somebody else that was in the movie. I can't really think of it, but it was called The New Kids. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it before. What it was, Lori Laughlin and her brother, Shannon something was his name. I can't think, but that was a guy's name, Shannon something or another. Their parents died right at the beginning of the movie. So what they're having to do, they're having to move down south, down in Florida, with her uncle and aunt, and they run this like a gas station, but in the backyard it's kind of like a what do you call it? Amusement park type thing where you can pay maybe $8-10 or whatever to go back there and rides and stuff like that, see animals and stuff like that. And then the next thing you know, the kids are picking on them and all this stuff, and it was just that was a nutty movie. We saw that back on HBO when we were kids. We used to laugh at that damn
Mm.
movie all the time. But I don't know. What is the first best movie you ever seen? Oh
You know,
man.
one movie that I really liked and I've watched it many times is the movie Bad Boys with Sean Penn in it from like the
Okay.
early 1980s or something. You know what one I'm talking about?
I'm not sure I
Where
do.
where that he ends up running over a kid in a botched robbery attempt in Chicago, and he goes
Oh.
into this juvenile penitentiary type of thing, and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I, I tell you a good movie I watched, and it's another low budget movie. It was called Kansas. Andrew McCarthy and let's see, what's this other guy's name? It won't Rob Lowe. Let's see.
Kansas.
Yep, and I'll tell you what happens. Uh, Andrew McCarthy leaves home, and he gets together with this guy who's been in jail a bunch of times. He's at what is his name? Um, it's not Rob Lowe, but
Oh, Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon, that's who it is. And what it is, Matt Dillon, he's been in trouble. He's got tattoos. He shoots. He'll shoot people on sight. He just is not willing to do anything. Anyway, those two are walking together doing something, and then he holds a bank up,
Mm-hmm.
and he lights a fire to a barn and all this stuff, and he and McCarthy are running for their lives. But anyway, McCarthy for some reason, ends up being the hero here. And they're like, okay, well, you really did a good job here. You know, and they don't realize he was in on it too. And then he meets this girl and ends up getting married and all this type of stuff. And the other guy keeps coming back saying, look, if you don't have money for me and all, I'm going to light up the next house. And
You
the
mean
house
did he meet a prostitute?
No. He met a girl in a farm or something, and then Matt Dillon shows up.
So
Matt
the
Dillon
prostitute in
says,
that movie is Kevin Bacon's wife, Kira Sedgwick.
Oh, really? In Kansas?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
because I just looked up the film and I was like, "Ooh, okay, there's a name I recognize."
Prostitute drifter, yeah.
And the thing is, he works at carnivals and all. Matt Dillon does, and just anytime something don't go his way, he just lights a match and just catches everything on fire. He doesn't care. It's crazy stuff, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, a young man returning home for a wedding crosses paths with a drifter who turns out to be a violent bank robber and finds himself involved in robbers' plans.
Yeah, and the thing is, at the end there, he ends up shooting Matt Dillon and all. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty good movie. It's not high quality and high.
So critics didn't really seem like they liked it, but they at least gave Dylan some props for his performance in the movie.
Yeah, McCarthy never did thrill me a hell of a lot. He's better screenwriter, I think, because McCarthy came out with Blacklist. Did you ever watch that show, The Blacklist?
Yeah, the first couple seasons.
Yeah,
No.
he was a producer and a writer of that show, so he came out pretty good in that. Spader is a hell of an actor in
James
that show.
Spader plays that part very well.
Yeah, he plays it really well. And now Megan Boone, she got killed in the movie.
Did she?
Show, yeah, she got killed last year, so she decided she wasn't coming back. I think they could have done something better than kill her off. Then maybe she would have come back.
Did they ever explain what the connection was between them?
He says something to the effect that he was watching out for what her father's best interests and stuff like that, but he doesn't really say that he's not her dad or not or whatever. But she eventually sees that he's looking for her best interest, and then the next thing you know, she stops a bullet from going in him, and she ends up getting shot and killed. So. Pretty wild movie. Let's look at some more scores real quick.
That was after the partly animated episode?
Yeah, it was. It was after the. Did you ever see that partly animated?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was wild. That was just crazy. Um, let's look at
Well, TCU is
college
trailing
football
38-24, and Alabama's up 42-9.
You know, these eating
college
challenges that they
football
got, where if you eat
scores.
something in a certain amount of time, you get it free. I mean, that why wouldn't want to feel that miserable? To me, it just wouldn't be worth it.
No,
So
it
some
wouldn't
people's
be.
pride is bigger than, hey, I get my name on a wall forever. And they
Yeah,
don't realize that,
For eating a 64-ounce steak, and
yeah,
if you
4 pounds.
eat it, yeah, after you
like
eat
the
it,
72 ounce of the Big Texan.
after you eat it, let's say you're at the beach. Let's say you're at Myrtle Beach, and that's a Friday night when you get there. You're not going to be worth a damn the rest of the weekend
And
you're
then you got to
there.
usually eat the fixins that they give it with it too, like a potato and
Fries and yeah.
It's
yeah, the
crazy. Ole
mushrooms,
Miss.
onions, and
How about this one? Ole Miss, 24-19. Tennessee showed up tonight. Um, they got the ball at their own
yeah,
15.
Peyton Manning must be playing again. He did that one week, scored
NC
62 points.
NC State 31-7. I picked we all picked Boston College, but we didn't like the NC State situation. Harris picked NC State, and they're doing everything they can possible.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, just starting. Arizona State, they're going to hold up the kickoff for just a couple of minutes against Utah. And me and Tim like Utah in this game. Arizona State have got a lot to prove. What 3 to 5 things are you most grateful for in life? My wife, my family. Man, wow.
And
Good
us, right?
friends.
You're jabronis.
Good friends. Good
Yes.
friends, man. Good friends. You better believe it. Because, hey, you know what? Des, in all truthfulness, Keith and Tim will tell you, I stay in touch with these guys. It's not like we only just come on here once a week and do this, or twice a week. We email each other, we text each other all the time.
Mhm.
And me and Keith especially stay in touch. Tim, I'm not sure I got his phone number, but
No, no, it's okay. I mean, look,
but the thing is, we can definitely, if all he's got to do is find out my phone number, send me a message, say, Rob, this is Tim.
or I'll
Next
just
thing,
email you. Like, you're usually very good about responding right away with something.
I get back pretty quick about it. Louis, all of Rob's jabronis should go all hunt Michael Myers together.
No, no.
We ought to go fish. I tell you what, we ought to go fishing together.
He wants us on
I
a
don't know if Tim-
suicide mission, I guess, is what
Does
he's trying to
Does
say.
Tim fish? Do you like to fish, Tim? Or you don't?
Not
fish?
really. I mean, when I was a kid, I tolerated it, partially because my dad took. Like, I could bait the hook.
Oh, okay. How about you, Keith? How about you? Are you a
fish
fisher?
off the hook? No thanks.
Well, it's not something I'm going to do on my own, but I've done it, for many summers with my dad to go out in Wisconsin in the lake that they had a like a mobile home in the woods up there, and I'd go up there on one of my vacations in the summer in August, and we'd go out like 5 days in a row for maybe 4 hours at a time, 4 or 5 hours at a time. Fishing for largemouth bass, and for that I enjoyed that. I'm not really one that would want to do that a lot, probably.
Like just let me sit somewhere or enjoy something. Like,
I mean, I enjoy kind of being out there and just hearing the sounds and stuff you can hear, and seeing the eagles flying around and
birds.
It's the ducks swimming around, and I mean, it's
the quiet times.
Like at night on a campfire, hearing all the crickets and the that's my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And especially like hot dogs or s'mores or something like that. That's
grilling them up and just sitting back drinking a beer.
Yep.
I got you. Let's look at next week. Right now, we can see where things are going out this week. Next week, how about this one? Oklahoma State. If they didn't have enough on their plate this week with Texas, they get to go to Iowa State next week. Don't forget, at the beginning of the year, Iowa State was a ranked team. They were up to 17th, and right off the bat, they got beat by Iowa. Now, Iowa State
hasn't been a cupcake team for a long, long time.
No,
they've been always fairly.
Oklahoma State could lose their first to Iowa State. Cincinnati.
How good is Appalachian State this year? It doesn't
Appalachian State, I think they're kind of on a down year. You saw Coastal's heading that way, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a trouble. I tell you one that could be though. Tulane has been playing well this year. They gave Oklahoma fits. They're heading to SMU. That could be trouble. Oklahoma at Kansas. I don't see a problem there. Cincinnati at Navy. Anytime you play in an academy team, you play in triple option, any of that, you better have your defense together, because if you don't and you leave a man out, Navy could trip somebody up. I don't think it happens next week though. Illinois, Penn State. Penn State's at home.
I don't think they'll be an issue.
I don't think that's a big one. Arkansas, Pine Bluff against Arkansas. Arkansas, you've already had your problems. You're not going to stay 17. Northwestern at Michigan. Michigan can't afford to trip up. Now, they're number 8, it says right here. They'll probably move up at least to 6 or 5. And I don't think Northwestern gives Michigan a hard time next week. Wake Forest goes to Army. That could be a problem game for this team. Wake Forest has been able to throw the football virtually any time, but they've had defensive troubles stopping the run. Well, if you've had trouble stopping the run, you got to put 9 in the box against Army and pray. So BYU going to Washington State. Apple picking time, but BYU, you done lost your second game. Oh no, that was your first game, wasn't it? Was this their first game they lost this week or second?
BYU.
They didn't cover last week. This week they lost straight to Baylor. Yeah, so that's their first loss.
2 losses for BYU.
They lost
to Boise State.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's 2 in a row then. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then now, Washington State. That's not going to get any easier. LSU going to Ole Miss. Which LSU team shows up? Of course, they're going to be on the road. Ole Miss, 13 starting the week, and they're still they're beating Tennessee right now, but that's still up in the air. Oregon and UCLA. Earlier, 5 weeks ago, we would have said this has been for the Pac-12 championship, because UCLA was playing so well. I mean, they were beating everybody's ass. And now, Oregon's the best of those teams. And is Oregon going to win? Obviously, they didn't cover this week, but they won. So let's see what happens. They need to win to have a chance to for at least a New Year's Day bowl. Let's say that. Tennessee at Alabama. I don't see a big problem tripping up there. San Diego State at Air Force. Another academy there. San Diego State is yet to lose, but Air Force could be a problem. Ohio State, Indiana. Well, just ask Michigan State. They just won today by 5 points. Ohio State.
Yeah, Indiana does that a few times a year. They scare people.
Yeah.
Just do that. But the fact is, Ohio State's going to be at least a 17 to 20 point favorite here. I don't figure Ohio State's going to trip up here. North Carolina State. They're heading down to Miami next week. I'll tell you what, you don't want to go there. You do not want to go there and play. Miami's still got a decent defense. Their offense is not the greatest. I'll tell you one thing. That may be a 1, 2, or 3 point game as far as what the totals they'll be giving us. And that should be interesting. USC heading to Notre Dame. Notre Dame can get right back. They've only got 1 loss, right? Notre Dame?
Let's see here.
Do you think if Miami would start putting Notre Dame on their schedule again, that would help them in recruiting at all? Or
Miami?
Miami needs to win, though. That's their problem. King's a good quarterback, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Miami plays a good schedule, man. They play Clemson. They play Florida State. They play Virginia Tech. They play Virginia. They play a good schedule, man. They played Notre Dame.
But those aren't teams that get the national interest that Notre Dame does.
No, but they play Notre Dame every 3rd year or something like that now, I think. 3rd or 4th year, yeah. But USC, help. It hadn't helped USC. Look at USC. They're still sitting without a coach, and they're heading to Notre Dame. That should be interesting. South
Do you think
Carolina.
Iowa State could be in the Big Ten pretty soon, or anything? Or maybe them in one of the Kansas schools or something? Or
Well,
Tim maybe
I
doesn't
don't.
think so?
Well, Kansas would be a welcome addition for the Big Ten basketball schedule.
And
Yeah, Kansas and Kansas State both probably.
that would be enough. I'll tell you right now, the biggest and hottest commodity in the Big 12 that the Big 10 would love is Baylor. Baylor, look at their
Yeah, especially for women's basketball.
and then look at the football. Look at football.
Yeah,
I
football.
mean,
They're at least better than Rutgers, Maryland, and Nebraska have been.
and whoa.
No.
And aren't they national champion basketball?
Yes, for
Yeah.
this past year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Gonzaga.
Yeah, so think about that. Think what Baylor could bring to any program right now. Their women's college game ever since Griner left has been there. Baylor's been there. Their men's basketball team now is the best in Big 12 over Kansas. And then their football team is better than Kansas right now. I'm not sure Baylor wouldn't be the big team right now if I could grab one and take it.
Kansas, so Tim made a good point. The basketball program there would be a
It would
big
be,
addition.
but the thing is, I think the overall program, if I could have one team out of the Big 12, I'd grab a hold of Baylor before any other team right now. I think. Second one would probably be Kansas, but I tell you what, I wouldn't want to go grab Kansas without grabbing Kansas State too, because Kansas State,
They do pretty good in football.
They do great in football, especially at home. And if they can get themselves,
They need some strength in that Western Division too.
If they can get some like non-conference opponents to come to their place, a Virginia Tech, a Syracuse, a Miami, Florida State, or get somebody from the SEC, grab one from A&M, grab LSU, just one of those. That'd be great.
Oh, LSU, I don't think would ever leave the SEC.
No. I'm talking about to play.
For a game, just a game. Oh, I got you. Okay.
Game. Yeah. De'Aaron King is out for the season. Yep. Casey Martin has right leg amputated. Oh, does anybody remember Casey Martin? Do you guys remember Casey
golfer?
Martin? Yes. Yeah. And
I'm surprised that it didn't happen like 10 years ago.
I know it. He was going through a lot of problems.
So he finally got his. Now I wonder, is golf in the Paralympic Games?
I don't know. I do not know.
Tell you.
I don't think so. It'd be interesting, maybe if he leads a charge for if they can build up enough to I mean, it'd have to be like amputees. Well, I mean, no, I've seen some one-armed people try to play golf. There's a kid that did it. Yep. So,
especially with somebody with no hand. Somebody with no hand that could put pressure against the club and all, still use two limbs. Who would you want to see Georgia play most?
They're already going to play everybody, I think.
Right. Well, obviously, I think everybody wants to see them play Alabama now.
If they both hang on for the SEC, that should be the SEC championship game, right?
Right. And then after that, if Alabama wins, then we get the cluster. Then it's like, okay, does Georgia deserve to fall as far back as fifth? And I'm not sure they will. I think they will. But, man, oh, man, that would be very, very tough for them to play all year long, be at number one. I mean, they've played really well. I would love to see Cincinnati versus Ohio State. That would be good. Cincinnati against the Big Ten champion. How about the Big Ten champion? I think that wouldn't be bad. See them play somebody like Michigan or Michigan State or Ohio State if they are. But Ohio State has is Ohio State starting their run next week, or they still got a couple weeks until they start running?
Well, they get Indiana, and then I think they get Penn State after that.
And then I think they get Michigan State, and then I think they get Michigan.
No, they get a buffer in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up their schedule real quick.
So they don't have to play those 4 teams in a row then.
No.
That's kind of going to help them a little bit.
No, so they get Indiana and then Penn State, then 2 weeks off, 2 weeks in between, The Michigan State, Michigan. So they get Nebraska and Purdue.
Purdue?
Yeah. I call them Purdue.
Well, they did it today, though.
They sure did. And trust me, they whipped Ohio State's ass a couple years ago.
Purdue,
or Iowa did in their building. Purdue whipped them too.
Purdue, I picked them against Iowa. I thought it would be a touchdown game or less, and it wasn't because they beat their asses more than by a damn touchdown themselves. Iowa has no one to blame but themselves. They lose at home. That you can't blame anybody on that one. But yeah, if Iowa, to me, Iowa is the best in the West. They're better than Wisconsin. They're better than they're better than Minnesota. They're the best one out there. They were number 2 in the country. Why the hell wouldn't they be? Just one loss. If they just win out, the problem is, will they be able to get a top 4 bowl? I don't know. That would be very interesting. Now, being as late as they lost their game right here, they lose in week 7. That's a hard thing to come back from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, do you know anything about this guy that the Cubs just hired as a general manager from the Indians organization, Hawkins or something like that?
No, I have below Antonetti. I've no clue.
Okay.
So did they get rid of?
Theo Epstein?
Yeah.
Well, Epstein left and went to into the MLB offices, and now he's considering going somewhere else. I think for
really?
or president of operations. And Jed Hoyer has been the president of operations since Epstein left, but they hadn't hired a general manager because of COVID and all that kind of thing. So they had guys just kind of filling in the role, helping him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just hired a guy a couple days ago from the Cleveland Indians organization. I think his last name is Hawkins, if I remember right. But
right.
Well, one thing about
a young guy,
they have got to open the wallet up this year.
No, supposedly they're going to.
Well, they got to open up the wallet, and then I hope to have the head cases like Addison Russell and Javi Baez.
Yeah. 100 years. $100 million is what they got to be looking at to spend. And when I say that, they need to.
Depends on how much you're given permission to spend, I guess. But
yeah, they have got to go out and try to get maybe 3 starters, and then their bullpen's not the greatest now either. So.
Yeah. From what I understand, pitching is what they're focused on.
Well, you got to be because they they can get a couple position players. There's going to be some out there. Look at the Giants this year. The Giants, number 3 hitter this year was named Darren Ruff. Do you guys know where Darren Ruff came from?
He just hit a home run in that last game of that series for their only run.
Do you know where they got Darren Ruff from?
Tampa, maybe?
No.
He came from Philadelphia. He came from Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He came from Philly left fielder.
Maybe I'm getting him confused with Aubrey Huff. I don't know. There was Huff and a Huff.
Aubrey Huff was left-handed. Darren Ruff's right-handed. He played left field. He played left field for the Phillies, and they rule 5. They rule 5, Tim.
No, really?
They got rid of his ass. And it was like, okay, he went through waivers and all, and then it was a Rule 5 draft and shit. I think is the way it worked. And then the Giants ended up just getting him for nothing. I mean, like pennies on the damn dollar. And then what does he do? He ends up batting 3rd for a team that won 107 games. Crazy shit, man. So that's what I'm saying. They spent their money wisely. That's what you got to do. You do not have to go out here and go and get to you don't have to get Trevor Story as your shortstop. You just cannot afford to have somebody like Didi Gregorius batting .211, 11 home runs, and 39 RBIs, 40 RBIs, something like that, and play most of the season hurt. You cannot have that. You got to have somebody that's going to bat .280, hit you 25 home runs, knock you 75 RBIs.
I wish the Indians shortstop would hit 25 home runs, but hell, I'll just be happy if he fields the dang ball.
You'll take 15. You'll take 15. Take 15 home runs, huh?
I'll take 15 home runs if he can bat .280. especially if you can put him in the top third of the lineup and maybe can steal 25 to 30 bases.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So many teams now not even trying to run anymore. Running is, and what pisses me off so bad when I watch the Phillies play. All right, and now here comes Harper to bat. They got a man at second. We got a man at second. So how are they doing it? We got our first baseman right here. We got our second baseman playing two steps behind second base, and we got our third baseman playing short field like you would be in damn softball. And then we got our shortstop playing between shortstop and third. Now look, I'm sorry. I don't care who it offends, whatever. If you got a guy batting third, and it's a runner at second, and there's only one out, you get him to hit that ball to the left-hand side, the chances of the ball getting through, number one, is tripled to getting through there. And then number two, have that runner ready to run to keep the shortstop covering third, too. I mean,
yes,
they're putting their third baseman in a position where they might have to make a play, more likely to make a play going to their right when they usually
the other thing is
left or straight ahead.
Speedy runner if the shortstop's essentially playing third base.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a moving fielder with a moving ball, it's usually not going to end up well.
Right. Exactly. It doesn't always. You don't always walk toward it. A lot of times you're walking away from it.
Right.
And then if you're also running, everything makes sense there if you just do it. And you can tear up this. You see, the MLB wants to step into it, and that's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to see that happen.
No.
Let them keep screwing up. Let's find a manager that's going to take advantage of this stuff. Bunt the ball down the line.
Or learn how to hit to the opposite field.
Yeah,
you've got
anything.
That wide open. What's the old saying? Hit them where they ain't.
Yeah.
This three-batter rule thing probably really opened the door to the MLB stepping in and making more rules against what you can do and can't do on the field, too.
Yeah. Six visits a game, that's stupid as hell, too.
But the nice thing is now that nobody does it.
Yeah, because they can't make the changes anyway.
Right. I mean, you're going to send the pitching coach out in the third inning. You almost might want to have a secret code to the catcher still counts as a mound visit. But still, I mean, it's like you could give hand signals to the pitchers and,
Yeah.
What do they do if a player gets injured before the three hitters? Is he not able to play for a certain amount of time, or what?
No, I think they'll if it happens once, I don't think MLB will look into it. But if the same pitcher kind of does that type of thing, where they want to raise some flags, they might just say something.
I think, in fact, Tim, I think they actually put them on a 2-game layoff.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what
I was wondering if that might be what they would do.
I think it is, Keith. I think so. If they're not able to finish their 3-batter rule, they will allow, I think, for 2 or 3 games, somebody to come in to be the 26th guy on the roster. And I don't think they count that as a.
It's like he's on an inactive.
It's not. It's not counted as a call up. And I think most of the time they try to have it to where it's a catcher and it's an emergency type deal.
Right.
So, yeah, they try to do it that way. So you may be carrying 4 catchers, but.
So what was your opinion of that rule that was suggested where if they had a universal DH that they could keep the DH in the lineup only as long as the starting pitcher was on the mound?
I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
I think they were wanting to get rid of this thing where you put a reliever on the mound for the first inning and then go to the start.
That's total bullshit. They just need to if they're going to do this, I think the Players Association has pretty much made it clear. This is the one thing they're demanding in the off season. We want to save some careers. We got at least 15, 20 guys that want to keep playing next year. One of them may be, I don't think Pujols will, but if Pujols wants to play one more year, if they don't win a World Series this year, that's his only chance, is if he wants to be a DH next year.
Yep.
So piss off Allen or else. That's what it comes down to.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, also, it's at what point do they say the National League finally? I mean, what league had the better attendance? That's what I'd like to know, because the original reason the DH was put in was because the attendance was so low.
Yep.
And
if you're gonna score, if you're gonna add scoring, probably by run and a half a game, average almost.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that's what you've been wanting to do. That's what you've been wanting to do anyway. That's without moving the fences in. That's without screwing around with the ball. That's without lowering the mound. There's so many. Look, you don't have to have an aluminum bat. There's so many things you can do. This is the number one way to do it. But look,
next year will be the 50th year of the DH in the American League. In fact,
70. No, I don't think so, because I think
73 was the first. Yeah, that was the first year. So
right. So it'd be
22 would be the 50th year.
Yeah, it'd be 50 years next year. Yeah, because.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yep. Okay, I get you. Yep.
So, yeah, I'm with. I think of all the ways that you could do things, why lower the mound?
Sometimes it doesn't look like there's much of a mound out there anymore anyway. From some of those camera angles.
The guys are hitting the ball at 100 miles an hour. And other than that, if they're not able to control, this is also going to keep the lesser pitchers in the minor leagues longer. Because I'll tell you why. There's going to be no reason in the National League to be pulling a pitcher in the fourth and fifth inning if you're down 3-0. If you're down 3-1, 4-1, you can leave them in there and be like, okay, look, we can let you go out there. First time you let a guy on second again, we got to get you out of there. But we'll at least get the opportunity. We don't have to pass you through a batting lineup and let you go out there and strike out and then waste time. So, yeah. And we don't have to worry about
I get it. It's you move a runner along, but it's sort of there's a pitcher batting this inning. Okay, yep, fair break.
Right. You're getting yourself about 4 break innings every game.
Yeah, that's why I've always said the game where the pitcher bat, it's essentially an 8-inning game.
Yep.
Right. The pitcher usually bats once. Yeah, maximum twice.
And the third is, if he's leading off an inning, all right, you get his ass out, then look, what's your chances? Even what are the odds that if the guy comes on with 1 out compared to no
I don't
outs?
know. I couldn't answer that question.
It goes from like 65% down to like 25% that run scored, because it's like 65% if you let the lead batter on first. It's almost 60%, 65% of the time he scores. But the thing is, if you get a pitcher, chances are you're going to get him out. Then you're going to have a leadoff batter coming up, and it changes things totally. When you've already got to 1 out, you cannot bunt guys over. You don't want to do that shit and make yourself with 2 outs now, and got to get a hit. You want to be
most of the time you're asking pitchers up there to eat up a pitch count.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the lower ones could, like Scherzer could do it, Kershaw could probably do it.
Just out with 2 strikes. We don't
foul
care
off
if
some
you
pitches.
Right. We don't care if you play in what's that game where you hit with a bat and you're in the middle of the field, a circle field, what do they call it? Shit. You don't even have a fence, but
it's like single, double, triple or something.
No, you just run back and forth.
Oh, cricket.
Yeah,
cricket.
It's like playing cricket. When you're hitting the ball, you don't give a shit if it goes behind you, in front of you, where. All you want to do
just get the bat on the ball.
Right.
And eat up
to
pitches.
Get 7, 8 pitches down in the way. That way, when you do set down, you've at least taken care of a lot more pitches by the pitcher so far. Who was the starting quarterback at OSU the last time they started 6-0 in 2015? Oh my gosh.
That's Braxton Miller.
Was that his name? I couldn't tell you.
Either him or JT Barrett.
Top of the 8th. Oklahoma State, not Ohio State.
Oh, okay. So
Was
no,
that
I don't know.
was that the guy where the coach got real animated in a press conference defending him or
Oh,
something?
the I'm a man, I'm 40.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on, 2015 for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, because people were picking on the quarterback or something, and like, pick on me, I'm 40, leave him alone, or something like that.
Yeah, I'll pull up their roster here.
Top of the eighth, tied at 2. So
Hold on.
Dodgers
Oh, they
and
don't give the
Braves.
roster.
Dodgers and Braves 2-2 going into the 8th. They're up at the top of the 8th. Utah 7, Arizona State 7. It's 4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Utah has the ball back at the Arizona State 19, but it is 3rd and 9, so they are looking to maybe get a little closer for a field goal, or if they are lucky enough to get 9 yards here, they can keep their drive alive.
Funny, it's Big Ben's backup, Mason Rudolph.
Oh, is it Mason Rudolph?
Oh.
Okay. Mason
And
Rudolph.
I just looked up the thing there. It's like, okay, that's an interesting name. Or a guy who got assaulted by Myles Garrett.
NC State 33, Boston College 7. I am a bunch of us took Boston College, NC State.
Womp, 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 womp,
Harris won with
womp.
that one.
Good job, Harris.
Ole Miss 31, Tennessee 19. Tennessee has the ball at their own 12 with only 45 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Oklahoma 45, TCU 31, 11-16 left, but they have first and goal on the Oklahoma 1. So if they get this one, they're going to be within 7 points of OU, and OU may not even be in the discussion this week when we talk about national champions. Alabama closes out 49-9. Mississippi State they were just too much for them. 40 points. They were only favored by 17 at Mississippi State. Alabama, we figured they was going to throw a 50 burger on them. They just about did. Baylor upset BYU. BYU's hopes are gone. 38-24. Purdue 24-7 over Iowa. I don't think none of us saw Iowa getting beat that bad. I thought Purdue would give them a game. I thought it would be a 7-point game or less. I wasn't. Purdue ended up kicking their ass worse than that. Georgia 30-13. Kentucky did keep it within the 23 points.
Yeah, they scored right at the last minute.
Wow.
They just kept the ball like 10 minutes in a row.
So me, Tim, and Anthony, we did. It was 23.5. It was 17's all they won by there. Auburn, big upset there. They beat number 17 Arkansas 38-23. Arkansas was number 17 starting the week, and they will probably fall out of the top 25. I can't see them staying unless they're 24th or 25th. Cincinnati going to move up to number 2. 56-21 over UCF. UCF has been playing better than what they played today. 35-point win. Michigan State 20. Indiana 15. Michigan State. I'm not sure they really helped their cause today. They're number 10 in the country, but a 5-point win on the road against Indiana. That's not a really impressive win. They did cover 4.5, but that's about all I can say for them. Texas A&M traveling to Missouri, 35-14, 21-point win for the 21st ranked Aggies. Number 12, Oklahoma State. The Dangerfields of the Big 12. 6-0 starting off this week. No respect at all. Went down to Texas, and they pretty well handled them in the fourth quarter. They were down 24-7, and they came back and win 32-24. Oklahoma State puts 25 unanswered on the board. LSU with the quarterback we don't even want to talk about.
Brad Johnson's kid went to the Wizard and got himself some talent.
Yeah, he got himself some. What did they went to the Wizard and got himself
Yep.
some.
Follow the
Got
yellow brick
rid,
road right to
got
Oz.
rid of his cowardness. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the cowardly tiger.
Yeah, the line. Yeah, 49-42 beat Florida. So Florida probably does not belong in the top 24, top 25 anymore.
How did they lose to Kentucky and LSU?
Hey, Rob, just without looking, who would you guess is the favorite to win the NBA Finals this year?
Um, I think I've already seen it. Did somebody tell me Brooklyn?
Right.
Even without Kyrie?
Yeah, the Nets are
Well,
72% pick the Nets.
I think I'd heard that they were favored. I was like, what the hell?
I'm not even going to venture a guess. I mean, at least there was a new winner. That like there's the 40 since '79 cycle. Like there was only like 7 teams that won the NBA championship.
Bucks 10%, which would the repeat would be a repeat.
The guy for the Sixers,
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons reports. He reports due to the fact. How about this one now? I don't know if you know the whole story or not. He reports 2 days ago, per his
agent.
Agent. He has not spoken one word to any of his teammates since he's been there.
Oh.
He went to one reporter and said, "I want out of Philadelphia," end of quote, and walked away during practice, and he just walked back out in practice and not said one word.
That was just this year? I mean, just a few days ago?
Yeah, just a few days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah. Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia. There's no rhyme or reason. I mean, we know why, because he can't shoot.
No.
But yeah, he can't shoot a free throw. He definitely needs to go somewhere else. Now, I've been hearing names. Should he get traded for the kid out in Portland? Lillard, Damian Lillard?
That would be a bad trade for Portland.
Yeah, I think so too. Kyrie Irving, all I can say is this. I don't want Kyrie Irving on my team. Kyrie Irving is a cancer. I would not. No. Dez, no. He is a cancer on a team. Kyrie Irving, I'm a Duke guy. Kyrie Irving is not what you need. That is not what you need right now. He is a drama king. Well, right now, look, I'll state my facts and let the other two guys say what they want to. All right, Kyrie Irving is scheduled to make $34 million this year. Okay, now, I have elected not to get the COVID shot. That was just personally for me. Now, if I had a job that told me, Robert, you will get your COVID shot, or you will not have a job anymore, and I made $34 million, you can bet your sweet ass I would be having 2 or 3 doctors look into it and make damn sure, look, is this safe? And if it is, I'd get it. Now, per NBA policy, he has went to the commissioner and said, I'm not getting it. The Nets have said, no, you're not coming to play. So, what happens is this, I don't know if you've heard, guys, he gets to make half his salary sitting at home without getting his shot. $17 million. He's $17 million he will make against the salary cap. That he does not have to leave his house all season long. Now look, I am not a proponent of getting a vaccine myself. I've not gotten it. But you can damn well bet, if someone tells me tomorrow that, look, you got $17 million at the end of the rainbow right there if you go get this damn shot, you can better believe I'm going to pull my pants down, I'm going to pull both my sleeves up, and I'll say, pick wherever the hell you want to give me a damn shot. Yep. Come on. Kyrie, this is bullshit. Now, obviously, the league is wanting you to do it for a lot of reasons
Oh,
because they are pushing they're pushing this deal as far as vaccines and as well as a lot of other things they're pushing across the screen, and I don't blame them for it. But my goodness, come on, it's not like you're working a $5. It's not like you're working $11 hour job. You're making some serious coin, and you people are counting on you to show up in Brooklyn.
yep.
17 million he's gonna sit at home and make.
Mm.
The Players Association right here should at least give Brooklyn this $17 million as if Brooklyn's got to pay it, they
Yeah.
should at least be exempt off of their cap space. But the way I understand it, it's not going to be exempt from their cap space either. So that's a total bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right. Send him to the Lakers to play with his older brother LeBron. That's
Well, hell, I mean, we could have that could be the Shaq Kobe situation.
Yeah.
Kyrie will be jealous again. Why he was ever jealous in Cleveland, I don't know, but
right, because Cleveland was nowhere. What's up, Sean? Cleveland was not a
Hey, Sean.
They were not a basketball franchise until he and LeBron decided to play there.
Nets signed David Duke Jr. to two-way contract.
yeah,
there's.
Go ahead.
They could definitely be. They could have definitely put Cleveland on a map. And I'm not saying. I mean,
if everybody stayed healthy in 2015, they probably would have won that championship too.
Well, I'm saying if they would have, let's say they would have stayed there for 15 years. Let's say 15 years.
I mean,
they would have had they would have had 3 or 4 championships there at least, maybe more. And, and Cleveland would be looked upon now just like Chicago was with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan made that team. He made that team before the Bulls. Before he went there, were the Bulls ever looked upon as a giant? Were the Bulls ever looked upon? No.
No. They're some good players, but not exactly looked at as a great organization.
He made that damn team. And LeBron could have cemented himself the same damn way. He could have had himself a 20-foot statue sitting out.
He'll still get it.
He still may, but I'm saying he could have had it sitting right there right now while he's still playing. And Cleveland, you got enough people in Cleveland to hate him now, though. That's the problem. You got people that still burn his damn jersey and shit up. I don't know.
At least he didn't go on national television and say, "I'm going to take my talents to South Beach" after he returned. Everybody kind of got the gist of, okay, the run's kind of over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to L.A., get my production company started, let Bronny go to some good schools, because God knows Ohio doesn't exactly breed. I mean, they've had some. I mean, Charles Oakley's a Clevelander, James Posey's a Clevelander, but it's very few and far between.
Yeah.
That Northeast Ohio especially gets NBA talent.
And his son's playing out in L.A. now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, So, I don't... Kendrick Perkins picks LeBron James as his GOAT over Michael Jordan. Well, Kendrick Perkins he was... All I can say is this. Anybody that picks LeBron James over Michael Jordan, number one, never saw Michael Jordan play. They couldn't have. I don't care where you're from. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Duke man. I'm not a Carolina guy. But, yeah, I can't imagine. Michael Jordan, head and shoulders better. And then
he was a lot more effort, got a lot more of an effort guy. I think.
And then the thing is, then you got your 3 centers from back in the day. You got Wilt. He scored 100 in a game. You got Russell. Would he win 11 championships? 11 in 13 years or some shit like it? Some crazy-ass number. Then you had Kareem that came out, and all he did is just tear up scoring records all the way through his
And
career.
I'll even
Then-
say you could add Akeem Olajuwon to that
I was
list.
just thinking of that because he
Yeah.
won a couple titles there when
Right.
Jordan stepped aside.
All right, and then after you drop those centers out the way, then look at the '92 team. Look at the '92 team that we've sent to the Olympics. All it was Barkley, Bird, Magic,
Stockton and Malone,
Stockton and Malone,
David Robinson, yep.
Pippen and Jordan, right?
Chris Mullin.
Chris Mullin, yeah.
And Christian Laettner was the odd guy on the bench.
Right,
Yeah.
he was a guy from Duke. He came from college and got to play.
Clyde Drexler was also on that team.
Yes, he was.
Mhm.
Team was not an American citizen, or else he would
Patrick
have been
Ewing
on
on
that
that
team.
team?
Yes, he was. Patrick Ewing was on that team.
Yeah, Ewan was on that team. Yep, you're right.
And Shaq wasn't in the league yet, right?
Who?
Shaq?
Shaq
He
was not in the
was
league at that time.
Yeah.
Or else he would have been a rookie.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see who else made the
With
team?
Wilkins on the team?
No, not Dominique or
time,
Joe.
wasn't it?
No.
All right. Let's see.
Isaiah wasn't on the team.
Isaiah was on the team in '92. Yeah,
No, he wasn't. He was.
he was.
He got
He
kicked
didn't
off.
like him,
That's
right?
right, because Michael Jordan didn't like him, and they kept him
Yeah.
off the
Right.
team. That's right. Let's see.
And
They-
Reggie
the-
Miller made
the
Dream
Worm.
Team 2, but not Dream Team 1.
The Worm wasn't on there either.
No. I'll pull up the Dream Team.
1992.
I don't think any of the bad boys Pistons were on that team.
I got him right here. Here we go. I got to.
Unless Dumars was, but I don't think so.
No.
Let's see. David Robinson. We done named them all. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Malone.
Barkley was the
Stockton-
one that we didn't mention.
Who was
No,
that?
Rob did.
Rob did, okay.
Malone, Stockton, Ewing, Robinson, Drexler, Pippen, Mullen, and Laettner. That is
Yep.
one hell of a team, folks.
And that was before the international teams started building up their squads. Although, I will say, if Yugoslavia would have stayed one nation, they'd have given the USA a hell of a ball game. Because you still have Drazen Petrovic, coach, Vlade Divac, Dino Raja.
It's
That's a decent little squad. I'm not saying they'd
Yeah.
win. It'd have been a hell of a game if you had all of Yugoslavia
Right.
together.
The only problem is if once somebody gets in foul trouble,
Yeah. Nope.
yeah.
that just rips them apart.
The only thing with that dream team was Bird was just a shell of himself with his injuries and stuff, and
Yeah, but he
Was-
was.
But they only needed him to play like 12 minutes a game.
Yeah,
Magic had
and
was
he
that when
played
he
him-
had the HIV already or something?
Would you believe that November 7th this year, that's only about less than a month away,
30 years.
30 years since that announcement.
Yeah.
November 7th,
And
1991.
he's still with us, thank goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he got the best doctors to put together the right concoction
Mm-hmm.
to keep
Yeah.
his immune system right.
Yep.
And we don't know what the hell it was, but there's been so many people since then that's passed away from it that you just kind of wonder,
Yeah.
is it the
So
same
it's all about knowing the right doctors and having the right money.
is it the same situation with some of this cancer shit? And that's what gets on my nerves. Is when I
Yeah.
hear people pass away from with cancer, and then, well, this person was able to get there in time, and he had just the right doctor. And I'm thinking to myself, if all this shit was made public,
Yeah.
it's just that's just pissing me off. Below is a list of Perkins' all-time 5. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kareem, Magic, and Larry. To me, my 5 all-time, I would put Michael Jordan, then I put Bill Russell second. I got to put Bill Russell. Man,
Yeah.
11 championships, that is hardcore.
And he
Mhm.
dominated Wilt.
Yep. But then right behind him, I would have to put Wilt. Because
Okay.
you score
He
100
was-
points. You score
100
100
points?
points. Yeah. Kobe hit 80. Kobe made
81.
81. Yeah. But
Yeah.
then think about that shit. Then you 19 short of still what he did.
Yep.
Now,
Didn't we just go past the 1 year anniversary of his accident or something?
It was late January 2020. It was
Oh,
actually the night of the 2020 Royal Rumble for WWE.
Oh, that's been a long time.
Yeah,
Now.
It'll be 2 years.
Wow, that seems like that time went by fast.
It'll be
Yeah.
2 years in January.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's
But I would have those two big guys second and third. Fourth and fifth, there's so many people, but I would probably go against the mix, man. I would probably go Kobe fourth. And the only reason I say Kobe could turn a game around just like that. And then I would probably put Magic Johnson fifth. Magic is an innovator. Him and Bird, either one you could have, because without one, the other was not a hell of a lot of. I mean, those two, it was like Hagler and Hearns.
Yep.
It was like that. It was like one needed the other back in that day.
It was essentially the way the NBA, when they scheduled their national TV, it was essentially who's playing the Celtics and who's playing the Lakers. Those are the only two teams that drew.
Yep.
Could you imagine Steph Curry on that '80s Nuggets team with English?
With Issel, Vandeweghe, and English.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they all averaged over 20 a game.
Yep.
And in fact, I've got the cards in there now. I've still got the cards in there. They were the worst defensive team that year. Each one of them got like a +5 on their card, which is nuts. But Issel, none of them rebounded. None of them rebounded.
No.
The guy that led their team in rebound was a guard, T.R. Dunn. He played some forward for them, but I mean, they did no rebound. All they did was run the floor and just lay the ball up. And Doug Moe, that's what Doug Moe wanted. Doug Moe got it. 120 a game and gave up 123
or something.
Yeah, and gave up 123. That was the crazy shit. That was the crazy part about it.
It's like an all-star game every night.
yeah.
Well, especially the highest scoring game of all time is the Pistons and the Nuggets. Back in, I think it was 84. It was multiple overtime game, but still, I mean, they both scored in the 180s.
Yeah.
Who was the top scorer for the Pistons? Was it Dumars or something? Or
in
84?
I don't know.
84.
What year was that?
Vinnie Johnson or either
was Dumars later?
Dumars was later.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they got Dumars in like 86, 85 or 86.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they already had what's his name? Isaiah. They had Lambeer. They had let's see.
Well, that's thanks to Cleveland that they got Lambeer.
Yeah.
No, he played for the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And
they got
the Pistons looked at him and go, do they really want to get rid of this guy? Okay, sure, we'll take him.
Lambeer was not a great player, but Lambeer was tough, and then he also had good footwork. I'll tell you who Lambeer reminded me of, except I don't think he had quite the offensive moves. Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale, footwork
and had way better range than McHale did.
Yeah,
there was a time that Lambeer was top. He may have been in the top 10 in 3-pointers made, like in his older years. He didn't
arc to his shot, though, did he?
Yeah.
He kind of had a flat shot, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have the biggest arch, but the fact is, don't forget he's 7 foot tall too. So when he jumped, he was 9 feet in the air. The old Lambeer owes me a beer. Yeah, I mean, you look back. If anytime you want to look back on some things, look back at that time when Detroit playing Indiana? I think it was when all that hell broke loose in the stands.
Oh, Malice.
Yeah, that was our test, wasn't it? That was
our test.
Some idiot throwing a beer from like 10 rows back. He's laying on the scores table
and then
just got out of hand.
Rob,
like they did a Netflix thing on it. It was like, like, okay, you want to show me a couple new video angles? Whoop-de-doo. Like, why do I care about this 15 years later? I don't.
Meta world peace.
Yes. Meta world peace.
Imagine Steph Curry on the Loyola Marymount team. Yeah, Steph, any team he's on, that's the thing. If Steph Curry right now, he needs a big guy, and not just a good rebounder. He needs somebody that can actually get out there and run the floor with him. I don't know who that might be.
Is Reddick still a pretty good outside shooter?
Reddick
retired. He retired
did he?
the other week. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
JJ Reddick retired the other
Well,
week.
here's the problem now is that they want everybody to shoot from like 15 feet and out, or they want the 7-footers to shoot the threes now, and so the traditional back to the basket 7-footer is passe.
Done.
It's done.
Right.
But
Even
so
if
they
you
don't try to get
pull it-
people in foul trouble so much anymore?
Say that again, Keith.
They don't try to get people into foul trouble so much anymore by going inside, or
No, it's an outside game because that they don't want to get the wear and tear on their bodies.
They don't want to bump. They don't want to hit. They don't even want to touch each other if they don't have to.
Right.
The 80s game of elbows and
Properly
chest-
boxing out.
it's gone. Yeah. Yeah. And screens. Screens are very few and far between. And if you
Mid-range
just don't-
jumper is
Yep. That's it.
well, screens are technically illegal anyway, aren't they?
no. As long as
no,
you're standing still,
You
you're
can
okay.
screen. You can do a screen. Where
Okay.
will Durant end up on the all-time rankings? Well, Durant is a good player. I'm not going to put him in the top 50 of all time. I can't do
No.
it. Durant.
It'll be interesting to see what the NBA does because I remember when they had the 50th anniversary in Cleveland, they did the top 50 team. Are they going to do a top 75 team?
I don't know.
It's interesting because a lot of people go, who's Bob Pettit? Who's this guy? Go look that shit up.
Cousy. Bob Cousy.
Yeah, Bob
too,
Cousy,
remember?
who's still alive, I believe, by the way.
Right. Bob Cousy, that in that movie, Blue Chips.
He got game.
Blue Chips.
Okay.
Yeah. They said he did not do a second take on those foul shooting. He said they said you remember when he made all
he
those
probably
foul
would have been in
shots?
he'd have been about mid-50s at that time, I think. Because I think he was born 37 or 38.
Yep.
Pull up Bob Cousy here. Because
But
I still have the list at work of the top 50 people that are still alive, and there's been a couple of deaths, but not a lot.
He said that he pulled all of the Celtics to the side in '87, and he said, "I'll put $100 on the table. Now you guys put 1,000 on it." Because I played back in the day. Back in the day, '87, and they said Larry Bird pulled $1,000 and put it on the table. He said, "Now I'm going to beat you in a free throw contest," and he beat Larry Bird's ass in three. They said he made 94 out of 100, and Bird made 90. Bird made 90, but he made 94 out of 100. And the guy was 40. I want to say 43 years old at the time. 44.
He was born in 28. He just turned 93.
All right, he was born in 28.
1928, yes.
All right, so we're talking. This was in 80. So he was 60-something friggin' years old then.
And there's been another 5 years
still,
for when they did Blue Chips.
Yeah, so we're talking in his 70s. He's still shooting free throws then. Said somebody he would go out and shoot 100 a day. And
Yeah.
Yep. And then said,
Him and Calvin Murphy.
He said all he did to Bird is say something about thanks and said something about I'll see you in Vegas, and took $1,000. I think he said he went out there and gambled it. So
I still like that story though, where Bird in the 3-point contest, that he went in there and said, "You guys are playing for second."
yeah, look, he what it was. They said during the commercial he walked over to Reggie Miller and looked at him and said something about are you getting second or is he getting second today?
Yeah.
And Reggie looked at him and said, "What the hell are you talking about?" He said, "First has already been won, brother." And they're like, "What?" Yeah, first is gone.
And the worst part is that was good. That was at least a decent little extra paycheck for some of those guys, even like the Birds or that's $15,000 at least extra going in your pocket.
Didn't Detlef Schrempf win that one year?
Detlef Schrempf won it. And I'll tell you, how about another name as far as the dunk contest? Remember Tom Chambers?
He was a Maverick, right?
Detlef Schrempf was a Maverick. Remember Tom Chambers?
Yep. I remember Mark Jackson hanging on to his waist.
Tom Chambers was a bad man. when he played for the played for the Suns. That's when Charles went out there. Tom Chambers could fly like that was a white boy that could fly.
Yeah.
I mean, he could take flight. He was a smooth. I mean, he could shoot 17-foot jump shots. He was a hell of a basketball player. You don't hear nothing out of him anymore.
No.
What is one bold prediction for tomorrow's NFL games?
Whose leg was it that Van Gundy guy wrapped around at one time?
Was that Latrell Sprewell?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your memory.
He got lost in the bottom of a fight, tried to grab a leg, and he got picked up like it was a paperweight. Back when the NBA, if you scored 85 points, you won most nights. Oh,
Dez, Chiefs score 35 points in 3 quarters tomorrow against Washington football team. Washington's not a good team. They're in really bad shape.
Unfortunately, no.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, that's the guy that used to be a coach at Seton Hall or something.
What, Van Gundy?
No. The guy that there was somebody that grabbed that.
Choked out. Oh, the one.
Oh, PJ Carlesimo.
Oh,
Yeah, Carlesimo. Yeah.
He choked him out.
Yeah, Carlesimo. Who was that did that?
Latrell Sprewell.
That was Sprewell.
That was Sprewell? Okay.
Yep. He got suspended for a whole year for it.
Yeah. He throttled him. That's what they call throttle. And then a lot of jokes came from that shit. Said something about who's the one. What did they say? Who's the one that could go full throttle and didn't have to worry about a DUI? Latrell Sprewell, especially when you get a hold to the coach's throat. So, yeah, some shit like that. So, we'll talk about that another day, coaches and stuff. Who would win a Super Bowl, Manziel or Jamarcus Russell? Neither one.
Neither one of them, because one will be coked out and one will be high in codeine.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, man, I had fun tonight. How about you guys?
All right. Yeah. Absolutely.
We almost spent 3 hours.
Yeah. 11 p.m. We sitting there bullshitting and we'll back.
That time went fast, too.
It did.
Tim, Tuesday night you're back?
As of now, yes. I will let you know if plans change.
And Harris is on a cruise with John Gruden at the moment, so we won't see him for a couple weeks.
Well, he says he's going to try to come on Tuesday night, too.
Oh, is he?
If he can find a spot, he's going to try to.
How about you, Keith?
Yeah, I don't have any plans. So,
all right, Keith, all 3 of us should be back, guys.
Hopefully Anthony can be with us.
Yeah, we're hoping Anthony. How about Matt? Let's try to get Matt back.
Matt was fun having on here that night.
And if you want to be on as well, all you got to do is email me, email Keith, email Tim. Let us know that you've got a cam. We will more than welcome you. Just all you got to do is have the upcoming week's college games and pro games. And your best bet is just to write your scores down. And then
if you come on, you're virtually guaranteed to do better than I do, at least at college games, because I'm doing awful.
And,
me too.
And that way, when we give you the point spreads, we can figure it out. If you just tell us who you think wins that game or whatever, we can throw so the point spread that way. Alex says Mrs. Robb should be on. Mrs. Robb said she will be on if she beats us all.
So we're going to see her then.
We're going to see what happens on Sunday.
We all missed the Eagles on Thursday night. We all said 6.5, but we all missed on that one. So.
Okay.
Rob, you said you heard one other person tried your pizza, the one that you didn't care for, right?
Yeah.
Was it Don Heston?
Don Huston, 40. He said total shit. That was his words, total shit. And then his son gave it a 45. He said it tastes worse than what it looks like on the damn box, and what it looks like on the box was total shit. That's exactly the words he said.
Absolutely.
So, yes, folks, definitely go out and try it. Go out and grab you one of them. I'm not. And look.
Even if you have a coupon to get it.
Well, if you got a coupon to get it, and if you got 4 people in your house, cut it in 5 slices. Each one of you eat a slice, and give 5 reviews. Send them my way. That way.
Have you really been getting criticized for what you said?
Well, a couple people just sent me some stuff and said something about you really don't think too much of
Oh, the guy?
Portnoy.
And the thing is, do you guys watch Portnoy's reviews? Does anybody in here watch Portnoy's
I've never
reviews?
seen
Not
Okay,
really.
see,
I just watch his bar rescue stuff.
Oh, see, I follow him. So,
is that the guy that does that?
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
pizza
Rescue
reviews.
stuff?
Oh, I
Well,
didn't know that.
not the host, but he's pitched in a couple episodes.
Oh, okay.
So, go look up pizza reviews and Davey Page views. That's what he goes by, Davey Page views, and that's Portnoy. And then the thing is, he'll tell you straight up who the places he likes and stuff like that, and he's good about it. But then the other day he had the frozen pizza. It was about a month ago. Remember when I told you guys on the channel he's going to release at the end of September? This was the end of August, I think, and he put it out there, and he had a knife and or a blade to cut it, spinning blade, and he had fake sounds in the back going.
Yeah.
And then so anyway, it was funny to watch. And then all of a sudden he takes a bite of it and he says 10. And then you lose all credibility. You lose all credibility when you score that a 10.
There's a completely different taste from regular pizza to frozen pizza.
Well, and the thing is, he's done these Totino's pizza bites, which to me, I kind of like those damn things once in a while. They're addictive as shit. And he gave him like a 3.9 or something out of 10.
Yeah, they're not meant to be like the greatest thing you ever eat, but they're nice.
But don't tell me that.
I burn my mouth on those things every time I cook them.
Yeah.
Don't tell me they're 3.9 and then tell me your little frozen pizza there's a 10. That's
bull
bullshit.
Crap.
Yeah, that's garbage. So that's why I said, as soon as I heard him say it, I'm going to go get it. So yeah, if you get a chance, watch a few of his videos. I mean, most of the time, man, he picks up people's sales by like 120%. So if you're selling good, he really picks up his sales because people watch him. So,
all right, I'm gonna get going.
All right. Y'all have a great one. We'll see y'all guys Tuesday night. And go Washington football team. Yay. No, I don't think.
Thanks for sharing some time with us, guys.
Man.
You've been here, Alex.
Have a good one, guys.
Rob.
All right, man.
See you